And Sassy's knights, I would say, if he had knight civilizations, but Scatterbrained was like, nah, let me take that French away from you. And also got rid of everything else that Sassy could find a little bit fun here. Ottomans getting banned on both sides, and we're starting it off on the driest of Arabias. Here between Scatterbrained and SAS.
Oh my god, I'm so ready. It's a 3-0 victory for Scatterbrained. The day is over. We can go reclaim the evening. No, this is... Okay, so SAS really likes Golden Horde from what I've been seeing. Like, he's a big believer, a very big feudal presser. French? I think you could just mass knights this.
As French? And overtake?
Yeah, because Tortugud are tanky, but they're not everlasting. They don't heal. So they're kind of sucky long term as the only solution. Like, maybe SAS just goes for like a hard feudal commitment with spears, etc. Maybe there's like an outpost rush that could make sense here. I don't know. This is not a matchup I think I've seen often so far, actually.
Well, we haven't seen a lot of Golden Horde at the same time. It doesn't feel like people have found their footing with the Golden Horde up until this point. So now that we get to see it a little bit at every level, it does feel like we'll finally get that little bit of an understanding between these guys. But French, again, it's French. You are the guy who has the aggressive unit, and your opponent has to react because your economy is just getting stronger over time. And sure, Golden Horde does have a few answers for this, but are they going to be better than the answer of knights, knights, knights?
Yeah, one thing Golden Horde have that's nice is like the villager discrepancy doesn't escalate as quick. Because Golden Horde batch produces villagers, but they produce them slightly quicker. So like that French lead doesn't scale crazily. But I think you have to find a way of being map present because otherwise French can just play out into like pocket deers and exploit that for an all-in scale point with knights.
Where's Sengoku?
Sengoku is Sengonku. They have not been picked for reasons?
Reasons. Very reasons, of course. We don't have an H. Oh, no, never mind. HRE is there. Order of the Dragon? What? Nobody picked it? Nobody picked English? Whoa, what is this? No, I'm joking. But Sengoku? This is something that the top players have continually banned out every single time. But Scatterbrained and SAS, both of them not feeling that there is a place for either of them. And it looks like we will just have a no Malians this game. And luckily, I will not call Sengoku throughout this series either. As we're hopping in, and I see a lot of units on the one side, but the bug has been avoided. And Sassy and Scatterbrained are ready to roll on the other side civilizations.
Yes, Scatterbrained is gonna be ready to roll in the red on the left side here. SAS in the yellow as the Golden Horde. Now, the good thing about being Golden Horde here is you don't get Dark Age rushed. It's one of the biggest annoyances for Golden Horde. But French haven't really been doing any Dark Age aggro. They have, however, been taking advantage of this. Deer play straight away. Pro Scouts is yesterday's news. That's to the lamos that don't feel safe. How do you win as French? Make everyone else not feel safe on the map.
But also you have to keep in mind the reason they get to do something like this is the fact that Golden Horde doesn't have early aggression.
Yeah.
They only get an answer a little bit later when you've already capitalized on those deer that you just went out happily to go and capture. So this feels pretty good here for Scatterbrained because there's just nothing that Sassy can do in a timely manner. Now sure, you do get a Khan, but the age up takes so long. So it does put him in a pretty good spot to get everything he needs.
Yeah, technically the efficient Dark Age strat for Golden Horde is to go Karash. You're never going to do that against French. Not straight away, right? Nice to have the armor later, but a French knight will just open up and kill all of your Karash. So, you know, the spearman timing does feel just brutally slow, to be frank with you. He'll eventually want spears because it is going to be French knight spam. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just try spear, Tortugud, and push. Because now with Scatterbrained doing this deer play, there is a requirement for him to be present on the map. He can't just say, oh, I'll go sit on my base for 20 minutes. It's not your old school pro scout build.
Of course, but even if they pull back, this is where you get to that spot where you're still pretty happy to fall back onto your sheep. We see one of the deer already being completely depleted. And I feel like the moment SAS gets here, we're already going to be 4 deers down. And it's not going to be that much of a loss if your villagers only get pulled back by then. Now, Scatterbrained almost ready for that age up. Sassy following right behind with the food. And I think what gets me about the Golden Horde is that one-dimensional age up that we get from them every single time. Is this, when we look at the two options here, so for those of you who don't play Golden Horde, the one is a production building, right?
2 production buildings, yeah.
Okay. And the other one is a spicy little Khan and Torgoods, where you get the wonderful cavalry, and they are cheaper and more tanky.
A decent amount more tanky, right? They're 30 more HP, and then have this 20% discount stone. And stone's your limiting factor, and Torgud are considered to be your best unit feudal. So it does kind of make sense. The other problem, though, is building carts kind of suck. They move really slow. So building cart can be changed into any military building you have access to. So it can be like archery, stables, racks, blacksmith. But they move at the speed of a slug, and they take 30 seconds to deploy. So for a tempo-based build, it's not as quick as you'd hope. The upside, I think, comes in the fact that you get them per age. So technically that means you can go castle and then drop a monastery because you get an extra cart per age. It just doesn't feel worth it to give up your early timings, though. I think with Golden Horde, the feudal age is far too critical to weaken yourself in compared to castle and imperial.
Now, when we look at the fact that these age ups are going to be pretty evenly matched, you know how I said the Khan is going to take a while? The School of Cavalry finishing right before that is just going to mean that the Knight gets to make that decision. Is he going to go straight for the base? And especially with the resources Sassy has banked up already, is the Knight going to force the Khan to respond to him? Or, ooh, and I love this, already getting that barracks down, getting ready for the Knight harass.
You have to, right? Because this is not Mongols, so your resources aren't safe like a Mongol player might be. So that Knight can dive a lot of locations with impunity. You can go into the gold. If you go out deer early, you'll be in the deer. Even the Uvu, you can just poke harass at if you don't do anything. So, yeah, I'm not surprised by this. And we mentioned already, like, the idea here of you just going Tortogud Oni into Knights, you'll just eventually lose that. Because Knights will heal and the Tortogud will not.
Instantly coming down with an archery range. He knows what's coming. The standard response already. And, oof, beautiful placement here by the deer carcasses, too. Now, Sassy, he's already screamed with the bird in the sky, and we should be seeing that Khan coming out pretty soon. There we go, and the boy is out, but he's going to be met with a Knight, as I see that red dot moving straight towards the deer.
Might be 2 Knights by the time he gets here, really. Like, remember, the French Knights actually produce pretty fast, so you could just kind of body on this. Good news, though, is like the Batu Khan, you can just back him up and heal him. The Tortogud do heal him when he's out of combat.
Now with this Knight, he's standing guard, but the Khan should be able to get a charge off, and that's exactly what he will do. Try to...
Okay, now you can use it. Oh, but that's nicely done. Yeah, I mean, it would have been a hard kill either way, but remember, it's like double damage on the charge initially. It's the thing that actually makes that time in the Batu a little bit annoying. Otherwise, he'd just begins to feel a little bit plastic until you get Tortogud.
So, do you think the reason Sassy picked this civilization is because it's called the Batu Khan, and his name is Batu as well?
I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, I think he is a little bit overly... Like, I mean, it's like the mind of a child in a very beautiful way, isn't it? Like, his favorite civ was Ottomans because he's Turkish. And then now the Golden Horde come out, and with the new civs, it seems like this is his favorite, and he shares the name with their Khan.
Yeah, I mean, it's fate, maybe. Might be the excitement, but it might just be the fate. Now, you see how confident Scatterbrained feels about this. Even though you're up against a civ that has mobility, just like you do, you still feel confident enough to move out onto the boar right next to the deer, which is honestly a pretty crazy spawn to have.
Yep, not even thinking I need spears at all, right? Instead he's in archers, he feels confident that he can just counterplay what's coming next. And it makes sense. Like we said, you can't just raw Tortogud into Knights. It's kind of a death sentence. So great read there. And just great leverage of food in a world where SAS should feel very paranoid about coming out. I think he's just shift out to the deer. He's even going to wall up. Nice thing about Golden Horde compared to Mongols, you do have walls, so it gives him an escape point at the back of his base if he gets raided on the food.
You can see that Scatterbrained is feeling a little bit spicy as he rotates towards those horses, but realizes, hey, he wants to go find where the damage could be. Now, keeping in mind, when your opponent goes on the deer, you can see that on the minimap with the deer slightly disappearing, and that's exactly why he's trying to pivot his way over to the other side. And Luckily for him, then, he will not get stuck behind a wall by trying to run behind the base. But at the same time, SAS is doing the same onto the boar, or at least thinking about it. But no,
onto the
there is
gold.
already.
Yeah, he's going towards the gold, and the spear count's not that great, so wants to be a little bit careful. You can't really dive the TC at this stage with just 3 Tortigood. You'll die pretty fast, so actually 2 Tortigood, right? Even worse. But I mean, the spear count is not really that scary. It's 4 knights versus 4 spears, so not the best contest to try and take. I think Scatterbrained is just kind of temporary still here, right? Not rushing urgently, because we have to remember things like the slow scaling villager count, and also the fact that the knight count is looking pretty stacked right now. Like 6 knights versus 6 spears, you're loving that.
And Scatterbrained, with those reinforcements, ensuring that they're at his base to not overextend, not to assume that Sassy won't be able to find damage. It feels good, but at some point, Scatterbrained is going to need to pull that pile all out and try to do the damage to Sass here. But we do see that Scatterbrained is just rotating, and Sass is already on the defensive position with those spears, and he's just making more of them. He's respecting the fact that French is, and always will be, the superior raiding civilization here, already going into their version of farms and keeping those villages quite nice and safe in there, just snacking on all the carcasses.
Is incredibly efficient, actually. The stockyard, it keeps 4 villages occupied, but only costs 250 wood. 4 farms would normally cost you 300. And that's before we add in the fact that you usually want a mill in some cases. Then you think about the walk distance, like with the farming, you have to move around, shuffle it back, drop off. Stockyard, you don't do that. You just stand up, you drop off straight away. So really lean food source, actually, for the Golden Horde. It's been a highly desirable element, and it's so safe, right? You just build them so clustered and so tight to the TC. Only thing you have to worry about is obviously if you're up against like mass knight civs, they're very good at diving that cluster.
Now the spearman is standing at the ready, the double wall. I say this double wall, but just because you can easily get control of this by just making that little square he's got in the corner, ensuring those villagers can quickly run in and out when something does matter to slide through. But Scatterbrain is actually deciding to go for castle, realizing, hey, I'm not going to break through this just yet. I'm ahead. I might as well use this to my advantage. He knows Sassy is not on gold, so he knows this is not going to be something Sassy can contest. But with the amount of knights I see from Scatterbrain, are we finally seeing an era of the Royal Institute yet again?
No.
Can I dream,
We're
baby?
seeing more knights
Just
the
let
time
me
being.
dream.
No, just don't. No, because that would be a nightmare.
Was that necessary?
Yeah, we're
Good
7
pun.
hours into a cast. We've got to have a few puns in there. So, Scatterbrain, I mean, there's no harm in just continuous scaling here, really. Like, oh, no. 5 more minutes of Feudal Age, adding in more knights? That sounds terrible for them. Not for me.
Now, these knights can pull these units out. That's the great part of this. And just get in, get a shot off, and go yet again. Because those spearmen are always going to be lagging behind just a little bit. But it looks like he's dragging him back all the way to his base. Gets a charge in, very nicely done, and picks off a unit every now and again.
SAS on the offensive. Maybe he's suspicious that there might be some sort of tech timing coming. I think what Scatterbrain has done really well is kind of just hiding the quantity of archers he's partying with. Does not bode well for SAS when you just look at how many spears he's got here. Not too much cavalry to truly threaten.
That's quite a tough spot to be in, because this will require Scatterbrain to make a mistake, to overcommit with the knights into the spears. Well, Scatterbrain needs to just do the micro. I feel like Sassy is banking on the fact that Scatterbrain needs to make this mistake just because of the pure composition difference that they have. But 18 spears is nothing to be scoffed at. If Scatterbrain loses focus for a second, that is a very quick dead 5 knights that will just get obliterated with all the spears. Sassy, though, he still is not on gold, and it's just because these knights are circling constantly, and he's pretty much okay with staying here in Feudal for a significant amount of time more.
Oh, nice little clash start there for Scatterbrain. It's a freebie, really. I mean, SAS, that's just damage done, and boo-boos can be kissed better for Scatterbrain, right? The chivalry is the important impactor here. It's really on SAS to try and find a good trade. When you look at the army value, though, big questions on how.
The army value looking significantly more here for Scatterbrain, especially with Sassy supposedly needing to get the stone units. I just don't know if they're counting. Maybe that is the difference here.
Possibly? I don't know. It's not the craziest world of difference to imagine when you remember Scatterbrained went boar and he was deer earlier, and he has slightly more workers. Yeah, I'd be curious on that one. There's some things that aren't being tracked. SAS does have Karash, but they won't be here for this brawl, which is a little bit awkward. The Knights are on their way home. He does at least force some idle time. Goes for the burn. Needs to be careful about positioning here because the Knights are sneaking in from behind, and this could be a good charge opportunity, but SAS able to dodge to the side just before Scatterbrained would react quick enough.
Now, this feels like such a dangerous position for SAS to put himself in, because these guys now, if he loses just 4 of these horses, it is going to be a very quick push for Scatterbrained. That is the bodies he needs, and the spearmen are not in position. He gets the charge off and destroys a chunk of those horses already.
To trust the horseman to carry that burden. I mean, he's got high expectations on him. He's trying to sheepdog him into a bad location. Scatterbrained does need to be a little bit careful of this, otherwise he could be scattered to the winds. Chivalry's now ticked in, so SAS, there's more urgency. I mean, this cav line isn't that far. It's just gonna run by, because you need the body blocks. SAS, he's trying to move to enable it. Archer's on the way. A few Knights do get cut off there. They'll just shift the other way, though.
And this is perfect decision-making there from Scatterbrained. Ensuring he can pull those Knights back is exactly what he needed to do here. The Spearmen, though, they are at the back, and they turn around, get a few shots off on those Knights, and one of the Knights does fall, but the Archers are in position to pick off a few, too.
Yeah, nicely done there by SAS, realizing he used those 3 Knights to his advantage. He just charges onto them, pulling his spears further away. But needs to be careful. Before this was a 2-element versus a 1-element. Now Scatterbrained has brought all elements to the front. There's going to be a clash here to try and get those 3 Knight kills, but the DPS just not that high. Torgu do not hit hard. Horsemen do not hit hard. You just got tanky units in different environments, and now this split up, a dire situation. SAS is going to have to reconvene the armies together. Might open up a smush opportunity for Scad.
A smush feels like it's going both ways. We see the Knights trying to connect onto here, but same with the Archers. The Archers are under the horses, and he should get a pretty good auto attack off. Just clicks it a little bit late. We see the Spearmen getting that surround on all of the Knights, and both of these players edging towards a lot of resources in the bank. And honestly, where's it going?
It's a concave, but the Knights, they were letting the Archers absorb the hits initially. Like, it's deceptive at first, but you have to remember those Torgu take ages to die, but the moment they do, everything else melts. SAS, where'd the Spearmen go? Where are they?
Apparently moreknights.com. It was the answer all along. Khan staying in pretty deep, calls it a day. And Batu Khan will not be strong enough to keep SAS in this. Scatterbrained now, we can see that army value lead. Disgusting. Always being a little bit ahead. But Sassy in that moment, it looked like he kind of had it. He had this around with all of the horses, and he had the spears on top of the Knights, but it just was not enough.
It's a fallacy, right? Because like Tortugud at first looked really good. Be like, oh, this unit doesn't do much damage, but it has a lot of health. But when it starts dying, it dies fast all of a sudden. It's the same logic with all the dragon. Like, wow, my army won 2 fights. Oh, that's weird. All my units just died straight away. It's because the health bars are so big. And similarly here, the smart move by Scatterbrained, he fronted with the archers. He intentionally griefed with his archers because Tortugud spears. There's a few horsemen in there, yes, but a lot of the composition with Golden Horde do not kill archers quickly there. It's only the horsemen, and they didn't really feel like they got the wallop he was looking for. So Scatterbrained, he has a kill point here. He has enough Knights to just start burning into the base.
He's trying his best to try and stop this, but the Knight numbers are so scary. Spearmen trying their best to get through and get a shot off the towers, firing right away at those archers, but the Knights are barely taking any damage through all of this. And we can see villagers trying to repair this and now paying the price behind it. It looks like the Khan is about to get killed yet again, but the archer numbers are just too scary, and they can constantly snipe out these spears. The horsemen and the Torguds are just for weak for this. Yes.
Yeah, they're Tour de Bad. And it's now going to be Tour de France. So Scatterbrained looks to move in towards the farming area next. Not much left to hold him back from opening this series with a convincing victory up against the Golden Horde. Shivs out against Knights is never a good look. And neither is the Golden Horde up against the French.
Scatterbrained looking like he was confident in the Knight ability to outdo all of the damage SAS tried to do. We can see that military value lead, just an absolute destruction with that last fight. And Scatterbrained looking pretty solid for their first game one, ending it in under 18 minutes. That feels pretty good with someone who we don't necessarily know as a very aggressive player.
Scatterbrained can actually impress quite a bit there, and he's not a player that's afraid to micro either. You know, this guy loves water, and you know, if you love water, you kind of have to love micro, right? So he's very good at the micro type elements, and he's also willing to kind of like go multifaceted, you know, managing different groups at the same time. But this game, he was never really forced to. He understood the economics at play. He didn't feel this need to send in knights and then get sniped one by one. That would have allowed SAS to get in the game. He just bulked mass knights and made it look so simple. And to the micro point, you can even see it there. Look at the APM, 319. So 50 plus over SAS has.
Yeah, the beauty of all the top partners he gets to practice with, B and Anatand, making sure that this man is ready for his main event that he tries to qualify into. But now, we will have to go into game 2 to see if SAS is ready to fight back against this. We can see a few of these fights that were so pivotal. The horse is just not able to do the right amount of damage against these knights, but the next matchup right in front of us here, we can see that HRE got sniped out on the Frisian Marshes. It has been looking pretty good today, but I'm surprised to see we get a little bit of Tuklak sniped out here, because this is not really your standard water map.
Tuklak is kind of busted on this map. It's probably the best map they have. It's the fishing in conjunction with like spear elephant timings to just kind of burn down the enemy docks, and you can't harass their fishing at all. Like the short bow ships, it's really annoying. And if you wait too long, if you wait Feudal and then try for a push, they're stronger even in that. Like, yeah, I think like this has been Tuklak's probably most consistent map we have in competitive play. When you get into bigger water maps, it's a bit more dubious. In particular, the Raider Elephants have been of note here. Like, Raider Elephants usually feel a little bit expensive on land map only. They become affordable here, and Raider Elephants are freaking insane. They are just mini rams to deal with docks, and very good at just punishing you for slight overextensions.
Luckily for us, we won't see what those elephants will be looking like on Frisian Marshes, but Japan will be the choice. And again, Japan, constant pick. Macedonians, we've also seen a lot of Dark Age aggression coming out from these sides, and I'm excited to see whether this is going to be something that Sassy feels comfortable with. Because with this map, you always have one guy going for a barracks and trying to deny that gold. Which way does it go? In this case, does Sassy decide to do something in Dark Age himself? Is this viable for Sassy to do? Or does Japan just reign supreme?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Japan just tries to fish and then reacts with racks. Usually Macedonians, like, look good on this map when they go for an immediate dock. We've seen a few Macedonian picks, and they feel like they need that extra food to really bump up the numbers upon feudal arrival. So it may just turn into kind of a greed-on-greed game. You know, there have been some interesting ideas in the past of, like, building 2 or 3 spears and then outpost dropping the enemy dock. But that was something being experimented with by a few players, like, 2 weeks ago. I haven't really seen it since. It was an intriguing idea, and it theoretically would be really effective against Macedonians, considering a lot of players like to do this 4 or 5 boat start on that first pond. So your outpost would deny a crap load of equity.
And we'll see who's brave enough to actually place down that outpost against. But with these two guys, we don't really know what to expect, because I think both of them, Scatterbrained, you have someone who is sometimes playing pretty standard. Sassy, on the other hand, he looks like someone who wants to be aggressive non-stop, but doesn't always hit the spot when it's necessary. Just like we saw in that last game, he had the horses. It just didn't feel like he could break through the front line of the knights, but that could just be the Civ matchup here. But Scatterbrained going for his barracks instead of going for a nice little dock. But the villagers not going to continue on wood here. We see one villager on wood, just enough to make a few spears. And Sassy with 5 still on wood, it does look like he's going to be the one fishing.
Yeah, so they anticipate a play. I thought Scatterbrained would take the trade to get greedy, but I just don't think he wants to enable the feudal timing. So yeah, Dark Age aggro, and you know, to your point on Sass, he's can be a very aggressive player. The tricky part for him is like sometimes he can win the aggression and then overcommit into defenses, and that loses him lead, right? Very easy to do, even for high-ranking players. It's been a classic one in the history of AoE4 is just overextension, not respecting the TC fire, etc. This is another map where that can happen. Usually the way you win Phrygian Marshes is not by diving the enemy non-stop, it's by suffocating them in the corner. We've had games like it in the past where someone thinks they have that timing with like Mass Horseman, goes under, rotates the TC like 15 times, and somehow the guy who went castle first and is being dove gets the win. So just needs to be mindful of that type of thing on this map. Luckily for him, he's not going to be the aggressive party, so he didn't have to worry about that.
Well, responding to this aggression is something I really want to see from SAS, how he handles this. You can see he's not constantly making fishing boats. He's got one fishing boat here, and he's floating quite a bit of wood behind this. Now, my big question mark on my head is that just because we're getting a barracks from him, and it seems like that is the case. The Varangian stronghold coming out, and he's going to fight this thing in Dark Age. I'm ready, just with one fishing boat, bringing in that extra bit of food. I can see this working.
Yeah, he's a bit far behind on the spear count already, is the only concerning thing. So you don't want to rush out to defend this. And sometimes people do get a little bit urgent. Like, their damage doesn't look like much right now, but it can scale quite swiftly, especially considering like you've tried to pad fishing, and the Agiramafa, although they are a pretty sick unit, are a more expensive unit as well, right? It's a 90 resource spearman.
Now, might seem almost insignificant with the other one only being 80, but it adds up pretty quickly when your resources are so limited here in the early game. And you don't want to get too many villagers moving out around, having to chop different pieces of wood to be able to place down buildings. And as I say that, I just see 7 spears from Scatterbrained. That is going to be disgusting.
Yeah, because like the difference is even higher, right? We mentioned as the 10 resource difference, but actually think about the initial investment. The initial investment is 125 resource difference. Because Rack's stupidly cheap for Japan, and Varangian strongholds are a premium production building. They're worth it because of the diversity of units you get, but they still cost 200 wood. And at this stage, you have 0 diversity. There's only one thing you can build.
And we can see Sassy here struggling for wood. Right now, he's pop-capped. And it's an expensive thing to replace here. We see as Akamajir trying to get on top here, poking holes into the spear's head, but does need to back off because the numbers still reign supreme. He does have a third one, fourth one on the way, and it does look like this dock is in quite a bit of danger. He could attack a sheep or two there as well, standing there under, but the scout moving them away. And the numbers are just so scary here.
Gotta be careful that injured spearman. Just want to kind of peel him back a bit further. Scout is like, okay, no, you guys got this. I'm gonna keep torching. I like this. He's trying to just stab and then torch to try and min-max damage. Gets the snipe on the Adgiramafa. And that looks like a dock that will be denied. I mean, not much in the way of fishing here, but the problem is SAS has chosen to invest to defend this. So it's slowing down what would feel like an easier objective, which would be to go Feudal Age.
Now, the fishing boat going to be completely idle there in the middle, and this is a pretty large investment to lose, because that dock is not playing a civilization where that dock was a small investment. This was massive. Now, with all these spears, he can so easily just rotate onto the gold and shut this down, but instead, he doesn't think about that just yet, only hits the head right now as he's moving out. We do see the boar being pulled there, by accident, I assume, Mr. Scatterbrained. Now, trying to push out, and the thing is, those villagers will not be able to stand here for too long, otherwise they will pay the price. That's a lot of spears to fight against, but he needs to get the gold for this.
Yeah, but look at Scatterbrained's eco. He just needs to gather the gold now as well, so he's really not going to be far behind on the tech timing. We have got the bank camp coming down. The wall camp is on the way, which is not a bad idea if you feel like you're going to be losing spearmen, right? Every 6th one going down, you get 1 for free. But he just needs 1 or 2 kills, man. I say that, he needs 5. The runestone is the critical thing, but look at the way that Scatterbrained is milking his health bars. He gets the worker stats up, right? Like, able to push them away. He loses, what, 2 spearmen so far? So runestone's still 60% away. It's going to be a worker going down. I think Scatterbrained is more than happy with this.
This definitely paid off. And we now see all these spears are trying to make these trades worth it. The scout goes a little bit deeper. He might never mind if the scout survives, but now they are going to be quite healthy and be able to take this fight. Runestone coming out.
now it's a bad fight. Like, this is where you just don't win anymore because it's +1 damage and movement speed. And that was a nice little bait. SAS basically dragged in on his injured spearman to get that hit, to get that advantage. Scatterbrained didn't rush the people on to gold as quickly as I was expecting. I think maybe there was... Is there a little bit of vacuum villages that might have been there because he was waiting for the gold anyway? So, tech up to begin soon. A new dock coming in. And we are now seeing Scatterbrained. That makes sense. He's gone for a dock play too.
Just wanting to get ahead a little bit with that eco. He knows he killed a bit, so he might as well just use this to try and get just that bit of a boost in food with him investing so much into the spearmen this early on. Now, according to our sheep counter, there's still a few sheep over here on the map, but we'll see if that is still the situation, but it looks like these scouts are coming back here for the last time. Spearman now from Sassy's side going to try to push off what Scatterbrained has with the Korra storehouse only 62 seconds away. The problem is just Sassy still is playing a civilization that does pretty well at doing damage when they need to. And getting that mobility from the Imperial Hippodrome is going to prove quite difficult for Scatterbrained to deal with.
Yeah, like one thing I'm thinking about here, this matchup is quite intriguing because, like, actually, technically, you should be able to win with Mastodons in the Castle Age if it gets there. Like, Ridari can beat Samurai. And what's interesting is actually I've seen Japanese players at the highest level get good at dragging past the Castle Age. Because if you hit Imperial Age, like, that's where Macedonian's economy starts to fall apart. But the cool thing about a map like Phrygian, it tosses the manual out of the window. It's all about who can be present and able in the docks. And I'm starting to wonder if SAS noticed the second dock play.
Now, with this, I think there's one big problem. Scatterbrained just losing all of his spears. So he went in a little bit deep for this. And maybe this was intentional. But now he needs to find a way to actually keep this up. And he does have his samurai, still Dark Age samurai, so not going to be too good at surviving. Does need to pull that bad boy back.
Yeah, it's like Harden's already there, and they have +1 from the runestone. A bit of a questionable commitment. I don't know. It's a bit curious that he went samurai. Maybe he thought he'd be able to keep his spears alive longer. Like, you've seen that's an ugly trade, and at this point, you kind of wish you'd just gone for an archership.
Yeah, I was going to say, he had the resources for the archership, but never queued it up. And now going back into spears after all of this, it doesn't feel like Scatterbrained is too sure of what he wants to do in all of this. But now, Sassy with the man with the units, and now it's going to be a little bit hard for Scatterbrained to stay up to date with this, because mobility is on the side of Sassy, and he lost 2 vills early. He needs to make this count.
Yeah, and he's now going back for spears because the horseman detail. Like, that's the other kind of weird predicament about this. Like, was he suspecting, like, Bogmuffer plus horseman? Because you've got to be assuming cavalry here. It's the best counterplay to mass docks anyway. So, yeah, just tries to stand his ground. But Targafire coming in on the pony means that spearman is just kind of milking the fight. And that's great. If the spearman's getting the kill, that means additional runestones for further skirmishes.
Now, the scout does move out a little bit into dangerous waters, as we can see here, but still no military ship on that water investment. And this feels quite dangerous, because with that, you can always deter your opponent. It just says, it's fine. They can kill the dock, it is what it is. I'll just try and counter-push against this every single time. Floating quite a bit of food here.
Is that TC idle time accurate? That's a lot of idle time for SAS, if so. Like, that's almost 20% of the game that he hasn't been producing out the TC. Holy crap.
That would be a pretty rough one to be in. And Sassy needs every bit of villager that he can. We do see that when I look at that eco difference, sure, we do have 7 fishing ships, but yeah, that feels a lot different.
Something's gone wrong.
Yeah, definitely. That's an idle TC for ages.
And also keep in mind, like, one of the one that eco kills that Scatterbrained got was a fishing boat anyway, so it's not like he killed 2 workers. He only killed 1. So yeah, pretty brutal difference here. And, you know, this is already now amplifying the problem with Macedonians. Their economy is not great. So now, other than the TC like this, it kind of screws up your tempo, your timing. Scatterbrained is now bulking into Yumi. This would be a great time for SAS to consider Horseman, but he's in the scale phase, right? He's just triple docked. He hasn't got the food yet to enable that.
Sassy, he still has the mobility here. And now the problem is, that's a pretty heavy army here from Scatterbrained. The thing is, he's keeping them all together. So you got to ask yourself, is this something he's going to be able to pick off at some point? Because Sassy, again, if he can catch out these units that are just walking around from piece to piece, I just hope he can, at least to keep him in this game. But now with the horses, he goes straight for the fishing boats, and Scatterbrained still says, I don't need to reinforce these waters. Fishing is enough. I've got the spears in the vicinity.
I think you could just age here as Scatter. Like, get ahead with the mounted samurai timing. Maybe he's just a bit paranoid that SAS was thinking semi-fast castle. It is a great move for Macedonians. Ridari match up really well. But yeah, like, it's been Scatterbrained just recommit. I think he just wants to end this game in the Feudal, realizing that SAS may be a bit militarily weak.
He knows what damage he did in the early game. He knows he was on fishing for just a bit more. He should be able to take something like this. Problem is just that Ridari is going to be hitting pretty soon. And the moment that Ridari hits, it feels like it becomes a very uneven game. So he has a little bit of a timer, and I'm very sure this man is aware of it. With the amount of spears he's got, he should be able to handle it for at least a little while.
It's just a bit dicey because of the Varangian detail. You know, like, you've gone half Yumi, so you feel like you now need to do something before it becomes a real threat. Because remember, this Varangian, they can scale double armor. It's insane. They get like 6 melee, 4 ranged. They barely feel a thing. Flash now coming in. Not too many horsemen. Going to peel them back to allow the Varangian to go in first, and then horsemen try to get access. But Scatterbrained, he's just proven that flexible APM he had in game number 1. Just keep shifting away with the spearmen so you don't get bogged down in a fight. So will be a staggered retreat. He's still holding reserve resources. He's starting to commit into additional samurai.
Now, this makes sense in a way, especially because Sassy is going for Rangians as well. It's something to keep him busy. It's something to keep him engaged while the archers are perfectly target firing, because Scatterbrained just showed us what he did with that. He was accurately making sure that the units he could kill, he killed. The Scatterbrained maybe using that APM we saw on the previous counter and really want to show us exactly what that looks like once he uses that correctly. Now, getting a horse picked off here is a pretty massive win for him, just because every single time that horse mass increases, the archers are in danger. He doesn't want that. He needs those archers to target fire and make sure that the game lands on his side. But now with the double tower here, we know exactly what's coming, and mounted samurai are going to be dealing with that Ridari coming soon pretty well.
Yeah, I think the idea with the 2 samurai was just basically SAS might go Bog Maffer because it can make a lot of sense with the spearman count. So he just wants to kind of make it harder for SAS to micro. Because you can see now, right, the real commitment is for Castle, which just makes so much sense here. He also has got the stone accruement to go towards the daimyos, right? So like we should be starting to think about the impact there. Like Yumi +1 damage could be pretty neat here. Alternatively, just use it for the timing around the Uma Bannerman. Uma Bannermans are kind of vile. The fact that you can get your hands on this Castle Knight and Feudal that does scale automatically.
Now, Scatterbrained does not have the resources for this just yet. You see him desperately trying to get that second power up now, back on the gold all of a sudden, but the problem is he hasn't been constantly producing all the units here, and now it looks like there's a very angry fight about to happen. The gold being used to make a few samurai. It looks like he did commit to 2 more and getting those tower upgrades pretty soon. Now, it does look like Sassy decides to go for the fishing eco instead and not for the gold, where it would hurt even more.
Demo ship play to follow up. Timing, it doesn't look like it's going to be quick enough, especially with the scout here. The burn torch damage increase huge. So we'll be able to just intercept, deny. Scatterbrained, ambitious choice, walking back the spears. It looks like he's actually trying to commit to a fight here while teching, which is pretty ballsy. Kind of feels like it's a feigned idea. Yeah, so just hoping SAS would walk away, because 17 Feudal Varangian, pretty bloody effective against the Japanese army.
Now, this could just be a way to keep Sassy in Feudal for as long as possible. Telling Sassy, like, hey, I'm moving out. I actually want to fight you. It tells him, hey, I'm not a threat. I am a threat if you don't keep making units. So this is a pretty smart play here by him, but Sassy is now aging up, and the double tower helping quite a bit here, but he knows he's not going to have access to this for too long. He needs enough resources to be able to ensure he gets his upgrades for his Yumis, and he gets out a few mounted samurai. And right now, that's not on the cards for him just yet. Let's see what he prioritizes.
Outpost being forced to be garrisoned here. Torch damage coming in. Yumi veterancy is the priority for Scatterbrained. He's got some very tanky defenses here. Yeah, finally the scout does turn up, so the burn damage just inflated. He's going to force the melee mosh pit now. Do we have a runestone drop? I don't think we do yet, so it should be one coming through momentarily. The Yumi taking a long time to get the upgrades they're looking for. No repair attempt just yet by Scatterbrained, but he has forced SAS to commit beyond the forge. So we're going for a full TC dive now. He's still got the champions for the time being. The Radari champ in particular at frustration. Yumi, veterancy is now in. So these horsemen, not that big of a threat anymore with a plus damage increase.
And now we got Mounted Samurai also on the cards here. And this is going to start becoming a little bit scarier. And Sassy, he is getting a lot of kills, but I don't think this is going to be enough for him. Behind this, he is trying to go for castle himself, so this is not an all-in per se. But he did lose
it's expensive,
significant
though.
chunk here. It's
so
a very
bloody expensive.
Dive.
Yeah, look at what's happening as well. He actually got baited by the monk. He chased the monk, and it meant the Radari champion went down early. And I have not seen any runestones. There's no way he doesn't have runestone charges on that dive, right? Like, he must have 2 in reserve at least.
And he does an A move in that moment. He could have had a few villager kills running away, but no. He's tunnel vision, getting back to base, ensuring that he gets to castle and survives.
Can we do a runestone count? Like, I think it's pretty important there, because he didn't do one on the gold straight away. On the TC, he must have dropped 1 at least, right? I was shocked he didn't have 1 earlier. No. On Scatterbrained's TC, right? For the dive of the runestones. Okay, so he had 1. There's no way he only had 1, right? Like,
with all the dead spears, not a chance.
you'd think that he'd have multiple for the dive, like the first at the gold and then a follow-up on the TC and then maybe 1 afterwards. Like, it is important because it allows you to gap close so fast. Like, if you have Radari champion and you have the runestones, your Varangian are charging as quick as knights.
Now, Sassy is pulling one of the cards that Macedonian has, and that's the Golden Horn Tower. Now, of course, this is just your normal age up, but this is... this is usually used to secure a lot of resources. But Sassy is putting that in a position where you would put it as Byzantines. In a very, very safe spot. It doesn't secure much, so when he does get attacked, it doesn't look like that is going to be his saving grace. His front of his base is going to be completely exposed to this. But at the same time, it could cost him the game if this gets intercepted the moment he ages up.
It might get intercepted just before if he's not careful. Yeah, it does manage to steer him to the south side. The Seek Shelter actually kind of griefing Sass a bit there. As one or two workers are getting sniped, so we'll be a back away. Now, the key thing to keep in mind here is Sass, he's basically done McDonald's the right way. He's franchised. He's built fishing all the way across the map. And Scatterbrained, he can snipe boats, but he can't stop docks. He's got mass Yumi and barely any torches.
Now, he is trying to keep these idle as much as he can, but now with Sassy aging up, we can see he's... I've queued up a demo ship there for a second, but changed his mind. Now, getting his cataphracts, this is... Oh, sorry. Radari. Oh, wrong civilization.
Yeah, cataphract aren't good enough to be called these things. Radari are coming through, but check what Scatterbrained is doing. Onimusha is a very smart call here.
Going to be dealing with Radari as well as anyone could, but oof, that's a lot of Yumis. Just sniping down any spear that dare steps close. The horse numbers, though. Sassy is trying to use them. He's trying to do as much as he can with these guys, but he needs an opening. An opening with a lot of villagers inside. And he just hasn't been given the chance.
No, I mean, the golds are fairly close together. The double outpost makes it kind of difficult until you've got enough Radari to go in, and even then. There is an interesting strategy in mind here, by the way. Sass has started to upgrade his rage damage, and he's also getting a mango emplacement. So this can get disgusting. The problem is you don't really want to scale ranged upgrades too much unless your opponent gives you a reason. The cool thing is he has Onimusha. Bogmouth are really good at sniping out Onimusha because of the runestone drop that gives you more range. So definitely a pivot that Sass could have in mind when he starts to see just how many range units Scatterbrained is building.
You can see Sassy is trying to extend this game. He knows the strength of the civilization when the upgrades outscale, and there is a timing where they do a little bit better. The timing is just not late game in this regard. So now with all of these horses, he's trying to keep this army on the side, while at the same time just doing that slow farm transition to ensure the army can be as big as possible. Radari, the numbers are getting quite scary here, but is this going to be scary enough against all those Onimushas?
Yeah, and especially when you think about the long-term food sources. You know, Sass is on burst, he's on temporary, whereas Scatterbrained, kind of similar, but at the same time he has that Kura. He already has that kind of impact you're seeing on the food side, and also Daimyos that will scale him nicer into a TC flated timing with farms than Macedonians are capable of, right? Like, you don't really see Grand Winery for good reason. Like, if it wasn't for Hippodrome, I don't think SAS is really in a competitive position this game.
Now, he is investing in more and more archers, trying to do that switch back here, because he sees exactly what the Onomushas have in store for him, as those fishing boats are getting picked off. And now those temporary food sources are getting destroyed every now and again. They do take quite a bit of damage.
Good. Yeah, the Scatterbrained, a bit of a greedy placement there. Remember, Deflective doesn't get affected by siege damage. Same logic as that you can shoot a cannonball into them, and Deflective gets ignored.
Radari just throwing axes right at those Onomushas. They say, I know you have a... Ooh! I know you have the range, but so do we. Samurai diving in a little bit deep here, and those horses look like they are going to be destroying shields as they chase behind.
Radari, remember, they are quicker, so they can just kind of whittle away at you a little bit. Ship damage does definitely add up when you just took a giant explosive ship to the face. So it looks like maybe just a few of these Mounted Samurai to go down. And Scatterbrained, he has got more coming up behind this. He's also starting to stockpile reserves. Daimyo level 2. It's important because he actually doesn't have an Uma, so you really don't want to fight until you've got that buff in from the Bannerman again.
Now he does try to guide this backwards, but what's the most amazing to me is still even seeing all of this. Ooh, but he does take this fight around the corner, and it does look like he sacrifices quite a few Mounted Samurai here, but the horses have decided we're going straight back onto the food.
Love the switch from SAS. Radari champion plus Adgiramafa, scary. And especially because at this point in the game, now that you have Radari, realistically, you will often be getting kills with Viking units to get those runestones. So it just gives you that surge with Adgiramafa. When they charge, they'll be quicker than the Mounted Samurai and the Onimusha.
And we can see that's a lot of archers chasing behind, but all of a sudden, Scatterbrained is the one with the full army all here. Sassy's army still scary, but they need to be careful here. We do have some of our champions all bound, all three champions all bound together, so we'll see how this one plays out. But the Mounted Samurai, they look scary, and those charges are going to be quite deadly. We don't have a lot of spearmen to try to impale everything around here, but the crossbows are going to try to perform a miracle. 6 of them might just not be enough.
Romfire is coming in, but it's still about, what, 20 seconds out, so a little bit of time required here. Offers up an opportunity for Scatterbrained going for the clash. Yumi just trying to snipe that back line, getting rid of the crossbows that threaten the Mounted Samurai. The Onimusha target firing down the Radari, and it's easy to do when they're all on the south side of this. A Runestro drop trying to just be prepped for a dive to chase this away. Scatterbrained, a lot of Mounted Samurai going down on the front side. He is starting to sack his Yumi, which is going to see the military count go down faster. And the Radari count for SAS still looking pretty bloody strong. So Scatterbrained, misreading the situation, will be forced away. SAS able to push away the Japanese beast.
And that will teach him not to fight into the runestones. The runestone drop there definitely made the army look a little bit more in control of what they were doing there. Did Sassy just play this perfectly? Because the archers, they were focusing the crossbows, and it just didn't look like it was enough.
Yeah, and it's concerning because like there's more scale points coming. You took that fight before the Romfire came in, but I think also that means that Scatterbrained didn't see that the sword upgrades were there for Radari, which is +3 damage. That makes them better at trading. And on top of that, he was diving for ranging strongholds, at least 2 of them that are firing. And now the counter dive comes in. SAS fishing for kills here. It's a lot of spring on placements to worry about, mind you. We'll just turn for the burn. Army now rallying home, but Scatterbrained is going to be late to the lunch here.
And losing these villagers is exactly what SAS needs to be able to... Ooh. Never mind. Sassy pulls back.
Wow.
Yeah, that... See, this is the type of aggression that he needs, but he needs to push even further.
He's in trouble. No, this is a big intercept. Yeah, the Onimusha, they're faster. They can actually chase you down a little bit here. So heavy damage done, but remember, importantly, this damage will never get repaired. So it does feel like SAS is now becoming quite reliant on Adgiramafa to deliver him. Kind of a weird idea here, but, I mean, stick with me. What about 2 or 3 Springolds for Scatterbrained?
And we do see another ranged upgrade from what I can see there on the upgrade bar. And Sassy just investing in more and more range units and Radari, because that is the ideal composition when fighting into anyone's base here. Now, the thing is, we're getting to that stage of the game where we need to think about moving out onto the map for the gold. Scatterbrained floating a significant amount of resources here, and he is probably thinking in different directions from you or me, KP. And
I think he crows. I think you crow into the 8k, and that should be enough to scare the Ridari away. It's probably like the best move you have here. Because remember what I said, like Macedonians in Castle should be the bully. If you get Imperial Japan, Macedonians just don't really scale the same. Like the silver income struggles to get all the necessary upgrades to compete. Oh,
now,
hello.
He does pick up some juicy villages out here. Does not go for the full commit. Doesn't look for anyone else here. Tries to stop the dock for a second. But there's a lot of villages out here that could pay the price as well. Scatterbrained just not going too deep. And Sassy's villagers will survive another day. But the age up is ready. And Scatterbrained, let's go see where it puts down that keep.
On the... Wait, what the hell is that?
Small gold?
Deer and small gold? I mean, I guess it protects both the 4Ks. He probably feels that riding further upfield is really dangerous because SAS has a big army and you haven't forced his whole army back. Like, actually, SAS was posturing with his infantry on the edge of Scatterbrained's base. Scatterbrained now reacting to it with Onimusha. A little bit cheeky here, actually, considering its range mass.
That mass from Sassy looking really good here against the Onimusha, and I think Scatterbrained sees this, respects it. But now, the unit composition that follows here, it looks like he's making a few more Mounted Samurai. But is this the late game unit composition you're hoping for? Mounted Samurai against Ridari from the Macedonian Dynasty.
With Elite Tech, yeah. It's a big game changer, because you have to remember that you're buffing your base damage and your stats, but then on top of that, you have the Uma Bannerman to buff percentile. So like you actually start to compete. It's a really big game changer. And you can already see he's primed up the elite tech. One thing's going to continue to be frustrating is SAS creeping these outposts though. Like this is fully intentional. The Macedonian Mango strat is the best outpost strat in the game.
Well, with all the stone he had there in the bank, you can definitely see that going to be starting to add up. He just had over 1,000 there. And possibly going to be using that to get some map control here too, but now it looks like Sassy is going to try to do a bit of damage here, and this is the timing he needs. The problem is he needs to do damage, and he's nowhere near going Imperial himself. He knows that with Imperial comes a lot of problems for him against the Japanese. The keep that Scatterbrained had, it does protect that small gold, but later on he might struggle getting everything he needs.
This is the burst timing, right? Like SAS got advantage on fishing, so he should be ahead on military count. But now it's gone. You know, like he's got, I think, a few packs of fish left here. Other ponds are just dry though. While Scatterbrained, he's been prepping that farm transition gradually over time. Like his is infinite.
Oh, and this is a
nice
beautiful surround here.
The Onimusha coming in now. The second wave is starting to arrive. That is going to force Scatterbrained away. Tries to charge away onto the workers. Good garrison time in there by SAS to slow down the retreat. And he's intercepting these mad samurai. Apart from being a bit cruel to them, good maneuvering by SAS to make it difficult to get away. And now with the runestone drop in, the movement speed increase means that you just have to run as fast as you can.
And the Onimusha.
Wait, oh no!
They've moved! Oh no, KP!
No!
Your boys! He's lost all of them, guys. Onimushas are a thing of the past. Onawashas, they are no longer part of this army, and Sassy is feeling pretty good about that exchange. The problem is just his food is not ready for all those replacements and not ready for a later part of this game. Now the runestones, they helped chase this down, but those Onimushas just standing, looking at their doom, definitely adding up quite a bit. Oof. Difficult spot to attack into, though.
Yeah, he still has rocket launcher to protect, but I mean, this looks very grim. Like, SAS, he needed a comeuppance. That is the comeuppance. Like, that many Onimusha going down is really awkward. You know, there's still quite a lot of Ridari here. In theory, your Mount Samurai alone should be able to win. I would recommend Scatterbrained starts to think about how he deals with the spears. Because your knights in the current state should be able to contest Ridari. The spears, however, is a completely different ballgame. And now 2 TC from SAS.
Sassy just trying to get ahead and solidify the worker count because he knows how much he had lost at some point, ensuring that the fishing boats that he has will not just be his saving grace, but also just adding a handful of vills. But at this point, it does feel quite brave to do so. He knows that there are going to be continual raids, but these raids seem to be shut down pretty quickly by these mango towers, wonderfully placed all around the map.
It's just, if we get into Imperial Macedonians, I'm going to warn you now, it's the type of thing that's going to lead to a Reddit thread. It's not quick, But like, if you drag the game ultra deep, like if Scatterbrained decides this is an hour-long game, you can actually just win with Mango Towers. It is kind of silly. Like in bonus damage with all those range techs, if they get to that point, they will almost mirror their base damage on the Mango Tower.
So what you're saying is we need to get to a 1 hour game. So Twitch chat stays engaged. Yeah. Everyone feels excited. And Macedonian is #1 pick on the ladder.
And also, what we've just done is told people the best Civ to play on the Crucible if you want to get deep in the times to set records.
And it doesn't get excluded like KT, right?
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So boom. No, they don't need the infinite scaling in that way. They have infinite scaling in Outposts.
Now, what's pretty crazy to me here is that Scatterbrained, he has 4 relics. So this is good for him. The problem is just now, Sassy is getting ready for Imperial. And like you said, Imperial, late Imperial, is a whole different ball game for this.
Oh.
Sassy doesn't.
He's floated a crap ton of silver. I think he's just planning a mass cataphract wave.
Oh no. That's going to be disgusting.
Yeah, it's 750 for free. It's actually like not a bad deal. But obviously the trade-off is it means you're not getting your additional tax.
We'll see if cataphracts are going to be the answer, especially against those Onimushas. Scatterbrained hasn't continually made them. Doesn't feel like he's making anything right now. Just floating the resources. Changing
he's
ideas.
got wiggle room. The Spearmen are still pretty threatening to scale into even more, because remember, when they blob, they get increased attack speed. So, like, you're up against mass cavalry. It's really a pretty good idea, but yeah, he's getting range attacks. It's going to be more Bog Muffer and just more Mango Towers. It's just so freaking toxic. Scatterbrained is going to end up in a position where he's going to need to go cannons.
I'm ready to watch that. I need to see.
It's disgusting. It's freaking... Like, ask your husband about it. He done it in my weeklies. He also tried Spring Ults with Flame. That wasn't as good, but the towers literally saved his bacon from getting cooked. They are really good.
And apparently, these guys are not going to be waiting for that. It looks like he wanted to engage there, but respects it. Sassy aging up, but the upgrades are coming in pretty quickly here. You instantly see him spending all that silver. It doesn't look like we're getting cataphracts just yet. Biology coming in for Scatterbrained, though.
Remember, Macedonians are too stupid to read books. They don't have universities. They just have more scaling techs. They get their health off of the armor tech, but that takes a long time to get at this stage of the game. He has not opted for cataphracts at all, by the way. Like, it's just raw going into upgrades.
And all the upgrades, they are ticking. Scatterbrained not realizing what this timing means, and he's not getting a bigger army at all. Nothing in queue, not top cap. It feels like Scatterbrained is just waiting for something, but I can't imagine what it is.
So apparently he wants to prove that cannons are better than Mango Towers. I don't agree. Yeah, so if you click on that little Mango Tower, because we just got the, I think it's a +4 in. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. +4 already. There's still 2 more upgrades, by the way.
These guys are gonna kill armies pretty quickly, but hand cannoneer switch, that's what we were waiting for this whole time, apparently. Scatterbrained holding off. Yeah.
How many archer ranges does he have? Because, like, if there's not like 7 or 8, this is really slow. He also, what the hell just happened to the houses? No. We don't care about stats. We care about the hand cannoneer, because like hand cannoneers do not scale quick. Okay, 8 is decent. He really needs to solve the housing crisis right now, though.
Who needs houses, KP?
I mean,
got
people in Japan, like literally, like people, like you know, they have one of the highest average ages, and it means that there's just not enough housing to go around. Old people. Now, there's not going to be a housing problem for SAS. That is a heavy hit. Oh my god.
Oof. And Sassy, now on his second DC, is going to need a little bit of time for that one to replenish. And keeping in mind, there's no more fishing ships to go around, but those towers here from Scatterbrained, let's see if those cannons can fight this off.
If they stack hard, it'd be a decent trade. Scatterbrained. I'm going to shift away at this point. Feels pretty awkward, though. There's so many upgrades already queued, however. Elite. Mad Samurai, elite of the elite, trying to go in. Onimusha backstab from the other side. We're trying to just snipe down the Radari, and now it's a flood. The cavalry coming in, the spearmen as well. Is going to draw the rest of the attention. Nice split with the spearmen, chasing onto the Onimusha. to just force that defensive element away. But that cannon emplacement is still in effect here. And Scatterbrained begins the concave. It is going to be a surround. Onimusha just striking down any full HP Rudari they find. It's starting to look like a bleak fight for SAS. He cannot stick on top of the ladies. Hand Cannoneers now coming to clear the space. He needs to retreat, but he can't do fast. No, the Mad Samurai and Onimusha can cut him down as he tries to leave this area.
The problem is those archers do not shoot rockets, and they are just falling like flies here. Sassy not in a position to remake these expensive units, just archers and a handful of Radari for himself. But now, he does not even have those towers to fall back on, because Scatterbrained was running around sniping a lot of them.
And also, it looks competitive on the military count because SAS lost so many units that the camp keeps spawning new ones, right? Like, that's the weird rubber band of Macedonians, but the quality is undeniable. Scatterbrained is looking for that clean sweep, and he is just one game away from achieving it and beginning his road to Wololo.
Now, Scatterbrained, you looked pretty scary there for a while, already getting the 2 early kills, but Sassy, he fought back. For a while there, it looked like Sassy was going to be able to bring a heavy little comeback towards his side of the scoreboard, but unfortunately, Scatterbrained just reigned supreme with all of those knights just making a proper dent in every part of his economy. So, Scatterbrained looking pretty convincing here, keeping that Belarusian flag held high.
So here we have the 18-minute timer from Dry Arabia. And we did at least get to see a much deeper game, right? I think it was it 40, 45 minutes in the end. And you see what I mean with the idea around like Japan. Like they can just play the eco game. So it puts the onus on Macedonians to win in castle or around castle because Imperial is kind of uncomfortable to achieve. Wasn't allowed to get deep enough. So great read there by Scatterbrained and just very crafty the hand cannoneers. Like if it had gone on for a next big fight, SAS wouldn't really have had the Ridari count to contest 20 plus hand cannoneers.
So the switch definitely came in pretty clutch with Scatterbrained, making sure that he has all the resources banked for this. At the same time, it feels like Sassy fighting under those cannon towers may have been a pretty significant difference in this army. Because for a while, those cannon towers just completely destroyed the backline. And it felt like a very close fight for a while there, until the numbers started dissipating by the hands of the cannon too.
Yeah, I mean, the cannon's actually proving stronger than Mango Towers. Then again, we didn't really see Scatterbrained overcommit. This was the overcommitment point, right? This is the silly fight, and he's actually lucky there were no Mango Towers in range. It would have decimated me quicker, but it's that Romfai. You see it on the right side there? It just comes in at a clutch time when he's still got about 10 Ridari left. And Scatterbrained and the Yumi just not really delivering. The weird thing with Onimusha is obviously a bit of a slower attack speed. You kind of can't split the fire. You have to target down Ridari one by one. So just good understanding of mass there. But I like that Scatterbrained just pivoted. He understood, okay, great, you hold, but deeper the game goes, Japan does have this kind of comeuppance into Imperial, into biology. And, SAS, to the point of this dive that's coming that you talked about, this 8k gold, I don't think it was necessarily the wrong idea. Like, he can't just sit back because university techs are always going to outscale your pacing to reaching tier 5, tier 6 blacksmith techs. Like, you can see at this point, he can only afford one at tier 4.
And that is usually the difference we feel. But at the same time, with Sassy, I feel like he could have maybe lasted a bit longer if not taking these fights. There were so many instances where he came out ahead and just wasn't able to capitalize by taking down a ton of that economy of Scatterbrained, just like Scatterbrained was doing to him. And Scatterbrained definitely had a lot of openings to that. You can see there are no walls out there. And sure, we have a lot of Springald towers, but with the economy that Sassy had there for a while, he definitely had the opportunity to try and to be on the offensive. Now, we do see that the lobby is getting ready, but guys, we have our next match, and this one, also chosen by Sassy, is going to be Baldland. Now, Scatterbrained says no Malians for you. No, so far, explosions. But Byzantines is on the cards, and we're okay with it. Now, on Baldland, this is interesting, because Byzantines very easily gets rushed. Just not by Ayyubids. Now, I don't count that out. I feel like Ayyubids, they have a lot of answers for anything that a civilization can do. And I did recently see an Ayyubid rush on a very, very spicy Byzantines, shocking me to my core. But Airbids has a lot of answers to Byzantine's late startup time as well.
Yeah, Hybrids, the cool thing here is like you can play for the fast castle. You can actually kind of brawl a little bit in the feudal. This matchup a little bit harder for the brawl because Desert Raiders isn't really on the menu. Like Byzantines, Malians, ironically, the two civs you would not want to really ever build Desert Raiders against. Wouldn't be surprised to see this be a fast tech. You know, just kind of get up on the age, Camel Lance is opening, rush the relics. Very exposed map. You know, unless SAS gets divine intervention from Microsoft and we get like 3+ berry batches behind his base, it is going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. I have seen a few players recently get that in Borderland. It is outrageous. Ironically, I think we had a game in the KPMMs between two talented players where a Byzantine player did get all the berries at the back and then still lost to like an Iobid death push. So even then, it doesn't feel guaranteed or safe.
Well, Iobid death pushes are something that I think most people are not used to practicing against. So you can easily underestimate the power of such a thing, especially with the Byzantines. I feel like there's always that awkward time when you're busy aging up and you're waiting for your upgrades, where your longbows, for your limited everything just feels like it melts like butter, especially when you're up against something like Aeobids that has camel lances and is going to get to castle a lot faster than you are. So definitely a tough spot for Byzantines in general here, I would say. And this is just my Conk 1 butt making a call. And I would love if people corrected me in the chat, because I'm very aware we have all these chads in Conk 3 and above in Twitch chat. But Aeobids feels like it has the ability to dictate the pace of the game here, just because of their versatility. Just getting those dervishes in feudal age, it negates so much of the damage that Byzantines could possibly do.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll get like maybe Dervish plus 1 or 2 horsemen would be interesting from Scatterbrained, because you want to try to punish Byzantines a little bit, because if they just full pure greed, then there is like the 5 cistern into the Golden Horn Tower factor. It can be impactful, even if you're just fast teching yourself. So like it just forces an overinvestment, because to deal with a horsemen or just 2 horsemen and 2 dervishes, you're going to want like what, 3 or 4 spearmen. You're going to want your first wave of longbows. And even then, you probably don't want to come out on the map too quickly. It's just kind of frustrating how good dervishes are at making that trade early. Like we've seen them used, for example, to block French raids for a fast castle play, where you just place a dervish on each side of your gold vein and they can't charge in, right? It's the same logic. Like 5 longbows is a bit of a struggle to get a kill. Because if it's only 5 longbows shooting at villages, the dervish can pretty much just keep kissing the boo-boos better.
I love how you described that. I think Twitch chat just sitting there is like, cringe. KP, that was wonderful. I love your comparison there. Wonderful. But I want to also point out, as we're about to head into the next 2, Sassy chose these. He was like, I am confident on these. Scatterbrained, on the other hand, he's got Holy Island, he's got Front Range, he's got practice partners, top of the top practice partners. He doesn't care about going to game 4. He's ready for this. But we've seen the underdog take it on these types of maps before. So, Baldland, if Sassy survives this one, we'll have to see what Scatterbrained has prepared on the rest of this draft, because the rest of these picks are pretty scary anyway, no matter which way it goes. We still have Taklak, we still have Zushi, and this is going to be tough, seeing that on Holy Island as well.
Yeah. I mean, he still has some solid picks here, right? Like Jushi and Tuklak could be the draft for Holy Island. Maybe just goes China, but we'll have to see if we even get that far. SAS trying to stay alive, like I said. 70s disco here, as Scatterbrained is trying to dance his way through to a smooth Frio. Will it be the Iobids to slay, or is he about to start staking a comeback on Boldland with the Byzantines?
Now, Sassy has a pretty good hairline. I am not too sure of Scatterbrained. I have not investigated his hairline as of yet. So, Sassy might be at a disadvantage here, not really understanding the way of the bald. Although, as we see that Turkish flag, that is the land of the bald fixing. So maybe he just really understands the deep intricacies of a map like Baldland based on his spawn. Yes.
So you're saying we need to basically introduce forestation into Age of Empires 4, and then SAS can come on this map and build trees, and he'll be unstoppable. Because Scatterbrained is like, he doesn't have much hair. He's quite like lean on the hairline. So I don't know if SAS has the advantage here, unless he secretly is a hair transplant surgeon.
No, I mean, now the conspiracy theories are ready to begin.
Like the Batman of hair surgery. He's like, in the day, he's a pro player, but at night, he's the hair surgeon that you don't want but need.
The real reason Anatan's hairline is the best in the scene. Maybe that's why they're such good friends. Sassy the hair surgeon, keeping people not bald. But on bald land, he knows how to handle this. The problem is, with this map, you have a map that is very barren, sure. We're getting to a point where Byzantines loves having more than enough wood. Ayyubids, not really that wood reliant. But Sassy here, still going to be going for those normal openings where we see with the berries. As we can see, the berries are untouched, so you know this is going to be a standard age up. But logistics are coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting some dervish action, and I hope you're ready. Because 5 villagers on wood, we are also getting a little production building to go alongside it. Ensure that Sassy doesn't just get to go cisterns all for free.
Yeah, horsemen seeming quite feasible here. Like I said, the idea of going desert raiders is very awkward, because if your opponent just builds javelins, desert raiders actually get melted. So, there could be like some process if that's worth it to bait your opponent. But I'd expect it to be like 1 or 2 horsemen, and then just see what your opponent does. The whole idea is that it keeps your opponent defending, but also keeps them investing in army, while you probably then don't need outposts to go fast castle.
Now, with Scatterbrained being in the driver's seat here, Sassy might need to be the one investing in those outposts. Or making units, though. Is this something where Byzantines would want to match? Or at least try to match the Castle Age? Or do they just need to accept their fate and make Limited?
Yeah, so like you kind of want to get to the castle, but it doesn't really feel that great if you don't have level 5 cistern or bare minimum of 4, right? So like he's going to have to keep gathering for the time being. Probably what we're going to see is like he could add in an outpost. It's not a bad idea, but the problem is like double dervish with a horseman will dive an outpost. In fact, they can stand under an outpost for a very long time. So you do just kind of get to the point where it's like safer to add in 1 or 2 spears. And you also then realize that because it's going to eventually go castle, you will need spears anyway due to the camel lancers.
It just makes sense to start them nice and early. Now, logistics coming out pretty quickly here. This just means that dervish presence is going to be absolutely everywhere. But we have to look at some weak spots where Sassy might be feeling that type of pressure. And firstly, we're going to be seeing that on the berries, on the gold there at the front. Being on opposite sides means that you need double the Limited. And when I say double, I actually mean 4 times. So quadruple the amount of Limited, because dervishes are just going to heal up anything that dares run into it. And the stable is the choice, which is just going to make sure that that Castle Age transition is even easier.
Yeah, and you can see by the macro split, right? We're not slowing down this Castle Age idea. The Desert Raid, like I said, doesn't seem likely here. And cheeky, Scatterbrained going for a deer shove. SAS should notice this. It's literally right next to him.
Now, those 2 dervishes just standing at the ready. Oh, that poor scout. He's just trying to do a little bit of damage. Sassy thinking about what his options are. And putting that barracks right in the range of the winery. Absolutely disgusting. Are we watching Vortex right now? Just taking up the spots of those poor farms. And unfortunately, this will just mean that Sassy is not planning to play this game too long.
Hey, I mean, maybe there's a strategy there. He recently had like a duo against Lucifron where like Lucifron beat him in, I think, 25 minutes. So maybe Vortex, Lucifron, like the efficiency there is like, maybe I just need to play more like them. That's how you channel the greats. Oh, he is actually doing Desert Raid. So he wants to force javelins. That is very interesting.
And getting javelins, that actually would be a pretty fun way for us to see some camel on camel action, dealing with a lot of what is that thing called? Oh, it's too late for me to remember.
Camel riders?
No. The camel. I always said distemper. The
debuff.
Attack thingy. The debuff. What is the debuff called?
It's called I think camel debuff. If I remember correctly, it's like camel ease. Sorry, yeah.
Okay, so we were both dense. There.
But like, well, no, but I'm wondering where you're going with this because if they're both building camels, it does nothing.
Oh, I thought all the camels just get debuffed.
you thought the camels hate you thought the camels are afraid of their own reflection, like they're basically Tigger from Winnie the Pooh.
Yes, they're cavalry. Isn't the whole point of camel unease to unease the other camels too?
No, that's why camels get crushed by elephants.
Oh.
It's horses. So
It's only horses.
Yeah, it says it on the tooltip. It literally says you might as well just say duck horseman. But yeah, there you go.
Horse cavalry. All right. I just read cavalry. As always, I read only what I wanted to read, and I must confess to everyone here, I've been making camels against other camel civilization as the Byzantines because I thought that they would unease each other. So, nice. Top tier. Love that.
But if you still won, it's fine.
Yes, that's true. 50-50.
Yeah, so he goes longbows. Wait, what?
Longbows make sense though. With the range-ish,
Does
you're
it?
dealing with camel.
You're dealing with
Camel.
archers and desert raiders. There's no spearmen. He needs to now force spearmen, basically.
But longbows always seem to be a pretty safe choice. A lot of pros will constantly choose longbows, no matter the matchup, no matter the composition, just because they are a solid choice in the right amounts. Desert Raider here, taking some good damage, but it doesn't matter because the dervishes, they're standing ready with the healing staffs, and nothing will kill them.
I think
Actually.
what happened here is Scatterbrained was trying to bait him, and SAS realized it. Because there is literally only one Desert Raider. The only way that the building Desert Raider makes sense here is to genuinely force javelins. So, win for SAS? But now, you probably feel this urgency to push up. He doesn't necessarily realize that it's just a full attack play. Now that the horsemen's arrived, that's actually really important info. I'm a bit surprised he's still bringing the longbows up, because when you see there's no one on gold, your thought should be, okay, so he's actually going to fight me.
He's actually just moving out slowly and pushing into that gold, ensuring that his opponent does not get to be a sneaky snake in Castle Age all for free, but he's about to find out why we don't bring our longbows all the way out here to our opponent's base when there's 6 horsemen about to get on top of them and take out everything you've ever loved.
It's organ harvesting time. Longbows turn for the trade. Does pin one of the horsemen. Archers going to back off here. Where is the dervishes?
Hospital?
They should have been here. They should have been in the fight. They're very far back, actually. What? Maybe a misselect on the group? Because there's only 5 longbows.
You need to get rid of them as soon as possible because very soon they are going to be joined by their other longbows who are now going to make it a solid 10, which means one-shots get a lot easier when needed, especially against those archers. But +1 ranged attack is coming in too. Horses now on the front line here, trying to get onto the back of the archers from Scatterbrained, but Sassy needs to play this a little bit safer. He did delay the naked fast castle though, and that's pretty good for Sassy.
Yeah, kind of a funky one there from Scatterbrained. I'm surprised the Dervish weren't in. Like, he had neglected the techs, but with only 5 longbows, technically Dervish can kind of absorb a lot of those shots. You don't really want to be in a position in SAS where you have to use your longbow shots onto the Dervish anyway. So just kind of a missed opportunity to keep pushing. Scatterbrained, no signs of teching, right? He's still floating 200 gold here that just doesn't have a full purpose. And his food would. It almost seems like he wants to see what SAS is doing before he hard commits so that he can pivot a tech just in case. He is also getting ready to creep out on SAS's northern berries. Does he have an outpost? He should have an outpost.
Sassy, if he is greedy enough... Ooh, yes, with that reaction, you can instantly see he knows that he needs to rotate top. But there's still a scary amount of units to just see running around. No units will be in danger, though, because they're all reinforced by some spears. Scatterbrained needs to be careful with these horses, and they will be going elsewhere. But we do see a yellow blob coming down to the side of Scatterbrained's base, and let's see if that's going to be an attack that lands. Scatterbrained, not too aware of this, it seems, as he... No, never mind. He's pulling his army back, ensuring they are close to the base. He realizes this army he doesn't have track of.
Yeah, SAS went Exploratorus. So if he hits the villagers, kills them with the horsemen, he gets gold. It's a pretty cool idea here, actually, but you can't do trickle trades. You have to hard commit and get kills. Does see the fat wood line. The stable's going to reveal him early, so Scatterbrained, does not even give him a whiff of it.
And now the question remains, will Scatterbrained just push forward, try to find his own kills, knowing that there's a batch of horsemen just desperately looking for something? Oh, no, never mind. He says, I will just go up to castle, and show you what my actual plan was. But the horses get on top of the villagers while he's so focused on this, and they will be able to pick a villager or two off. Yes, there we go.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, kind of rough losses there, Scatterbrained. If he got them away, they just would have been healed better with the Dervish. I don't know, the Dervish's presence just hasn't really been felt in this game. Part of it due to SAS's positioning, but also does feel like Scatterbrained hasn't really looked to leverage him to the full extent either.
Now, Scatterbrained doesn't have all the food that he would want to go into this castle age. We do have still 2 berry patches there at the back, and that's pretty good considering Sassy's berry patches are all the way in China. He definitely did not win the spawn game this game. So Sassy already fighting an uphill battle as he's gathering all those berries from the hill, but Scatterbrained is the one with the back food who will be okay falling and back and just getting all the resources he can. But you have to ask yourself, is this age up taking long not just going to cost him a significant amount of villagers here? Because this is going to take forever, and Sassy is about to hit that in 30 seconds.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like Scatterbrained has reaped bountiful rewards from staying in the feudal age this long. Horsemen are going to at least try and find a few snipes at the back here with the charge through. The industry now on the way. That's 2 minutes away. It is a huge influx of wood. Allows you to get the production line, or where in this case you probably already have it. You could even just think about setting up some farms to give you that longevity of food safely in the corner.
Well, most of the horsemen make it out alive, but some losses were suffered. Scatterbrained not going to be reinvesting into these horses. We can already see with the split here, the focus is purely going to be on getting our camel lancers out, ensuring that destruction is sowed upon. Now, Sassy, he does need to be careful here not to lose these horses either. You need to make sure that your advantage here is used by getting that full mass together, everything upgraded, and then making that push out. Because Sassy does have a pretty good timing now to be able to fight this with him being fully castle.
No priority on the monks, though, is a bit surprising. Considering his position and the slight overburden of gold, like, this would be a great time to just rush relics, especially knowing that the dervishes are ready to receive. So you can just essentially cripple Scatterbrained's value out of castle play here.
Now, the longbow numbers are quite scary. We only have 14 here now, but this is more than enough to scare anyone off. And the next 2 groups are going to be joining pretty soon. It do take a while there from the Golden Horn Tower, but not too long. We do have level 4 cistern, so Sassy being very conservative with all of this. But now, Scatterbrained's going to be denied all of that gold, and the 700 and something that he has is going to be all that he has access to for a while, unless Sassy does not put pressure on that top.
Horseman, I'm just going to go for cheeky dive in. The palings are coming up. Waste time on the monk, so we do at least have him now seeking relics. Scatterbrained values that more than just getting a few longbow kills. But the rest of the longbows are now parked on his gold. 756 has been gathered up. A good number here. Likely we're looking at camel lancers, but Sass is already solving that. Cataphracts, it sounds bad into camel on ease, but Cataphracts are just such ridiculous castle age tanks. They kind of don't care. It also stops the idea of Scatterbrained trying to rush up a Manjanique to deal with the longbows.
Now, the amount of archers here makes this a little bit easier to pick off, but ooh, that dervish, he is not taking much damage, just healing himself, running away, not really a care in the world. Now the relics, now completely uncontested by SAS, and Scatterbrained, I think he's going to be focusing on exactly that, bringing that first one back, and the second one, we do see a red dot right on top of it, so I'm going to be picking that up shortly.
Well, Longbow's getting ready for a full dive here, with some melee assistance to make sure they feel safe. Scatterbrained. I mean, there's really not much to gather in this corner, man. Like, it's so awkward when you get pinned on boardland like this. The workers, the seek shelter, few are not going to make it through. The upgrades for Scatterbrained, I mean, he has got veterancy for archers. It's really all on them to carry the torch. Only 3 camel lancers alongside them. SAS will just reset, realizing staying underneath the TC would be a way of tossing away the lead here.
These archers are going to be able to pepper through all this front line, but Sassy moving back pretty well here, ensuring the longbows try to get as much damage done as possible. But the Cataphracts not turning around here. They need to be the front line. Longbows do take an extra bit of damage, but the archers might not be enough to handle these Cataphracts.
No, it's just a tanky unit. Like, he's already got ranged armor 2 on the way, so it's not going to get easier here. Scatterbrained has at least got the dervish back here to heal, but there's literally no front line. Like, this is the difference. It's a composition of 2 elements for SAS and just 1 for Scatterbrained. And there is a little bit of poke in there on the gold just to kind of starve him out further.
Now, this looks pretty grim here from Scatterbrained with only 9 villagers there on the gold, 15 total, but in and out of every single tower as the units keep pouring in. He does pick off a nice little cataphract here, but that's not going to make up for the losses he just suffered. A lot of his army going down, and archers, he's got the upgrade, but he doesn't have any more wood to do anything with that. So, spearmen sneaking in like sneaky little snakes, and not making this too easy for Scatterbrained to get back in this.
Scatterbrained, I mean, he has by some miracle found the food and the gold. The Camel Lancer surge is a bit surprising, but you mentioned it earlier, it's that reserve of food in the corner. It's not going to last long, but it gives him a shot here. Especially considering SAS has some macro issues. 1,300 food just sitting there waiting to be used.
Now, the Camel Lancers seem to be stopped by these cataphracts every single time. And the thing is, they're just not doing enough about it. You can see the cataphracts now turning around. Archers trying to focus fire these longbows, but at the same time, cataphracts are just going to obliterate everything in front of them. And Sassy is showing us that Aeobids that maybe had a winning streak against Byzantines in a lot of these cases, they are no longer the king here. Especially not when Sass is in the driving seat.
I mean, SAS with 4 more cataphracts in queue. You know, the idea here is that he will have more food. SAS has already moved the north corner for the deer. Probably considering the boar on the south side. Already has some olive groves in. Scatterbrained doesn't. He doesn't have the permanence of food. It's all temporary. Healing, rejuvenation, just not really cutting it. I mean, the Camel Lance is somewhat contesting, but really, I don't think there's much food left here. We really need to do a check there, because I think he's maybe on the last of the berries. Yeah, he's moving out for the berries south of this fight. So some big risks being taken by Scatterbrained to try and remain in this game.
These longbows are just absolutely destroying anything and everything that comes close to them. Sure, a few losses are suffered, but at this rate, you don't mind losing a few longbows. You're just going to remake them, especially with your farms that you've got set up at the back and the berries. You are still tapping out. He's on the deer right now, but he still has a berry bush there in the north. So SAS just really doing an amazing job with his spawn being a little bit all over the place. And Scatterbrained not able to close that out into a 3-0 that easily.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to give up easily. Scatterbrained isn't really an early GG'er, to be honest with you. He'll keep going until it's dead obvious. Palings drops on the front side, so SAS can just basically camp there with longbows and send cataphracts on the flanks. He's just going to try to burn through these cam lances, but I mean, this type of way of trading here does give Scatterbrained a way to just keep pushing in the meantime, right? He's not going to run out of resources because the gold workers are just chilling.
The problem is just with those cataphracts, he could have potentially just killed 8 more villagers. And instead just focusing on the camels, it feels like Sassy, he's focused on one side and sometimes loses just a bit of control on his raiding units and could be quite a lot more devastating, which just means that there's so many open possibilities for him to destroy people even harder, because you could see this performance from him right now. Just optimizing that a little bit more.
Wait, what?
Would just be an absolute destruction.
SAS is building a cistern next to Scatterbrained space. Wait,
Oh
what?
no. The
What are we-
manor
Is
cistern?
Is he gonna like outpost rush shit with mango emplacement? Or is it like siege workshop with faster production? I don't know. It might just be that he's running out of food. There is a raid on the north side, I think. Yeah, Scatterbrained has snuck out. Oh no! Oh, it's not. That's not a raid at all. Oh god.
Well, guys.
Well, that's
going
gonna be
for
bad
food.
news. They are the food, I think is the lesson here. Hero Siphon now hitting the TC. Amalance is just given a freebie. So yeah, he is doing the mango outposts.
Disgusting. In this day and age, and we get villages all around. The thing is now, Sassy sees this. He could very easily just go and clean up, but Scatterbrained says, I'll make a tower and make your villagers pay for it. Cataphracts seem to be going top, and are they going straight for that gold? Oh, it seems like he wanted to go for the gold.
Oh my god, what is this? The amount
lucky
of shared
gold.
resources. The Cata? That's the jackpot right there. Okay, that's your lucky charms. Really?
Apparently not. It's not the lucky charm. It's not what he hoped to find. He wants to find something else, but the camel lances are right on top of the archers.
Cams, they're right where they need to be. The cataphracts coming in from behind now. The palings drop here because SAS realized the damage is not worth it versus the stun effect. But the camels, they do peel away. SAS will not be booed off the edge of the base that easily. I mean, it's still a dominant military lead, and we do seem to have some details going unnoticed here. Very important details, like the fact there is an outpost creeping in on that gold.
And the Camelons is shutting it down, but the cataphracts are here to support. Few villages going down for Sassy, but in the end, it won't matter because the Catas are here to clean up.
This fight, not so good for them. North side one most definitely, and Scatterbrained with that type of idle time. I mean, that's going to push to where he located on the north side too. I don't know. This is what I mean with Scatterbrained. He doesn't really believe in early GGs. He's not going to wave that white flag easily, but like this does require some big fumbles now for SAS to lose.
Now, Sassy is picking up these villages, ensuring that he spread... Oh, look at all those soon-to-be dead villages. Cataphracts are trying to get a little bit of a surround. Ooh, charge in.
10-pin ironbits right now.
Disgusting.
Now, once again, Scatterbrained still has got half of SAS's economy, so he's not going to call GG. That's all I've got, really. Like, this could be 5 more minutes of this, to be honest.
And that's exactly what Scatterbrained wants to bless us with. I can imagine how on the edge of a seat we're sitting right now, saying, I can do this. I killed a bunch of villagers at some point, right?
He hasn't built a mango tower yet. I've still got hope. All right, this is some Stalingrad levels of resilience he's attempting, but finally Stalingrad will fall. GG gets called. SAS now finally getting a point in there.
This game definitely made me realize how long it can feel if you are up against someone who has a direct, like a kind of counter unit to you, but your units are just so tanky, so the trades are even and even and even and even. It was watching one of my ranked games for a while there, except, you know, a lot more action and a lot less idle time, except on the TCs. I must say, these boys, those TCs, they deserve a little bit of extra love all around. Sassy, though, takes the game. And now Scatterbrained gets to choose the next place that Sassy needs to go and fight him on.
He'll choose water.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
he'll like, it's kind of like that kid that just loves it when it's time to go swimming, you know? But they don't care about any other sport or anything else you could do. But there you go. Called it. Holy Island has already been picked.
Wonderful. This means that we have so many wonderful civilizations that can be chosen. I wonder what we're getting next. Guys, it is going to be 1 a.m. when the next game finishes. So I hope you're ready with your popcorn and your tea. And as I say that, I realize my tea is standing here getting cold next to me. I did get a wonderful tea delivery earlier because you can hear the crunchiness of my voice already.
I don't get any of that crap. I just get left in my garage to suffer.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. Is your partner not just watching these streams, excitedly waiting for you to take over?
She's sleeping.
How do you put your kids down this early?
They go down at 7.
Yeah, and they just stay down during the whole stream?
Yeah, they do. They know what's good for them. I mean, when you open up, like, how do you put your kids down? It sounded like a dark vet story, but yeah, no, they just go down at 7. they mostly sleep through. I mean, in warmer weather, Freya will usually just sneak out and come and see what I'm doing and then talk to the stream. But she ain't that dumb. It's freaking winter right now. She's just staying at home, safe inside.
So we might be the ones who are cooked here. But Sassy and Scatterbrained, these are the men with the resilience. Both of these boys, the crazy thing is we're all in the European time zones here. Yeah. And I love the fact that the Scandinavia is done qualifying. They got that done last week. This week, we're getting the outside of the EU out of the way. Scatterbrained, you know, from Belarus. Yeah. Sassy's in Turkey. We have Scatterbrained here.
Okay.
They're waiting for last.
But like is Turkey classified as in Europe?
No, we say no, I said EU.
Oh,
I
okay,
think.
okay, got it. Yeah, so EU is in European Union, not EU is in the continent.
Sorry, UK. Sorry, UK. No.
Yeah, you didn't think of because we say NA rise up. I didn't realize many people were still like, woo, European Union rise up in esports.
We do. I'm not in the European Union, but like,
you're just there like at a LAN waving your passports, going Schengen.
Yeah.
We don't get to do that anymore, really. So yeah.
Yeah.
We just basically pulled the cable out, the giant Ethernet cable out, and then floated out into the Atlantic. I'm gonna rename myself the New Atlantis in in 100 years.
I see Beastie posting in the chat, I am exit, but I am Brexit. Nice. Sorry, KP. I know that this causes trauma for all of you young lads who did enjoy the freedom of movement into the EU.
At least I don't get attacked by wild dogs.
Just so you guys know what KP is referencing to. Also, I'm not in the EU. When I came back to Serbia recently, I was walking on the street and living my best life on the way for a little wine with my friend. And I was walking with the wine bottle in my one hand, bag in the other one. And I was walking and it was a little bit icy and slippery. And a pack of dogs came out of nowhere and just came right at me. So I had to go for tetanus shots. It was really nice.
We don't get bitten by dogs. Apparently, we get stabbed. Like, in fairness, though, that's pretty impressive. If you can train your dogs to stab people, okay?
Yeah.
Like, that's the next level of attack dogs. You just put a little Kevlar on them, a little helmet, and just give them a shiv.
I mean, in Britain, they need to adapt, right? In Serbia, we're still getting there. We need a little bit of time before we actually make it out. But yeah, I will say that after that battle, it did not improve my AoE gameplay because I can 100% tell you that melee weapon doesn't do too well against 5. So will not suggest that to anyone else here.
I think just next time you are set upon by a pack of dogs, you just need to be carrying a Zweihander. So you can just Landschneck them up,
Oh, I like dogs. The next day...
It's like, oh my god, they're biting me. They're mauling me to death. But I do like puppies, so I probably shouldn't punch them or anything.
The stray dogs are so nice, usually, just not in packs. But I must say, that was about 2 days later before I pet a bunch of stray dogs again. So, survived, conquered, and overcame. But we'll see if Scatterbrained is going to be able to overcome this Turkish Chad, because Turkey has the same issue with dogs. They know how to attack. Packs of dogs know how to attack.
Okay.
Just make that very clear. But he's got KT. And I don't know how we feel about KT. Actually, Scatterbrained was like, no HRE. But KT, that's the one, baby.
Man, after all this dog talk, you missed the perfect opportunity. Just ask the question, which one of these two is going to be the female dog? Okay, I'm not going to use the naughty word. This is...
KP.
No?
Who's going to be the top dog? Come on, you missed that one.
Who's going to smell like wet dog would have been more appropriate for a water map.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
It's time for a slosh in the posh of Holy Island. I mean, Knights Templar actually got allowed. I cannot believe HRE got prio-sniped over Knights Templar on this map.
What a day to be alive. And China also getting cancelled. Why would you ban China over sushi? Is there a reason that I'm not good at understanding?
China #1. I think that's what we're going for. So sushi allowed through here. SAS is like, no, sushi's scary for the remaining map, so I'll just stomp it out here and move on into that 5th game. Let's see if we can do it. It's Knights Templar time. He'll be surfing into the holiest of islands, but Scatterbrained looking to scatter his ashes here. Sushi's legacy, one of the former #1s, the holiest of Holy Island civs.
I'm just hearing you clap the whole time, and KP is like,
I'm just
there
like,
is
I've
water.
just got like a giant freaking bottle. I'm just smacking. I'm like, this is how we keep ourselves awake. 8 hours in. Welcome to the unhinged hour of the broadcast. Perfect time for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a villager moving out to the water from Sassy. He sees a lot of sheep, knowing that is going to be absolutely delicious later. Whose scout will make it first? It looks like Red is the boy who's going to be picking up all that loot in just a while. And that was it. I don't know what I just did there, but I'm telling you do.
and here we see the scout in his natural habitat picking up sheep. More white than black. slight racist tones there, but he is going to balance it out. My question is, where's the pink sheep? Nobody ever wants the pink. But the idea here is that he shall thrive in the sheep until he is ready to dive into the fish. The question mark is, how many fishing boats will each of them build?
Well, with Knights Templar, anything can be expected. Because remember again, guys, Knights Templar, they never have to pull off wood. Because we know exactly what wood gives them. And yes, that is food. With wood, we feed the armies and the fisheries, I guess, we will go with. Mm-hmm.
We've definitely reached that calming hour as we approach more of an ASMR approach. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a perfect time for us to individually count the sheep.
Yes. As people are edging towards their beds with Monday morning work creeping in just a little bit closer, we can count these all the way to 22. 1, 2.
I mean, we can't because they won't let us look at the sheep. They're trying to save ourselves from ourselves here. Like, you know, the thing is, I should be trying to steer this back on course, but you know, sometimes when you just see a train wreck approaching, you don't wave the cars down to let them know. You're like, wow, that'll be a big crash.
Whoa, KP, what the hell's going on there in the UK, man?
Huh?
Chill. We like people here. We love them. Look at all those. Oh my god, look at that sheep. That is not a very diverse group of sheep, though. Boys are gonna come back to town, but that is definitely going to be delicious, though.
I'm telling you, there's no pink sheep. I'm disappointed. I don't know, actually, how many games I've cast of AoE4 since the DLC, and I've yet to see a single pink sheep.
Now, KP, we have decided to make limited edition mouse. Oh my god, is that a barracks? Yes, that is a barracks, and that is a spearman. Can confirm.
Hold up.
Oh, I mean, wait.
Wait, Scatterbrained. I mean, this is kind of awkward because you know what you want to do if you're Shushi here. Let's look for the meditation garden placement. Oh, okay. That's actually pretty close to his base. It actually might be difficult to stop that. Then again, Scatterbrained is being a greedy son of a gun.
And he's just still focusing on the fishing. And we see he's even going for the shoreline fish. This man, he wants food and he wants it fast. But not for the reasons that Sassy wants the food. And we just see more and more spears coming out. Scatterbrained is coming to scout, but he hasn't seen that barracks just yet. He's about to get a little surprised, though.
Long stick up the poker. Here we go. I mean, there's no getting away from this now. You don't have wheelbarrows, so that's a dead villager. The best thing you can do is just build the dock.
Ich habe einen Stick und du weißt nicht wo... Oh, I don't know. There, I lost my German. It's too late. You don't know where to go. You're going... du bist dort. Ja.
Schnell. Starben schnell.
Komm. So, Sassy going for the gold here, but the jig is up. The spearman has been found, and Scatterbrained is the boy who is going to ask himself, where's my meditation garden going with spears in the vicinity? He might need to go very conservative for this one, though.
Imagine if he just ballsily walks up the north side and does it on Sassa's side. I mean, I would salute him as the most memorable player of the qualifier. Like, yeah, just come over here. He'll never look there.
Where is all this fishing gonna end up as? Because this is disgusting, KP. The amount of fish we see from this man.
He's outpost rushing the gold right now.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god. And he's just gonna guard the north side one as well. He's got 5 spearmen already. I don't really know what the Scatterbrain's plan is against it. You can just pull workers. Like, just get your torches out right now.
Oh, he does see it. He does see it. Oh my god, he's making... Oh.
Okay.
Perfect.
I mean, why pull your torches out when you can murder the worker, right?
And Kingdom of France coming in hard. Big investment here. Now let's see if that spearman is going to force them to finish it. They finish it. And nothing gets killed.
Another outpost is really freaking expensive, actually, while your opponent's teching as well.
And keep in mind, this is not just double outpost. This is double outpost with no wood for a mining camp.
And now his outpost is better than your outpost. Nice Templar. Going for the dock block.
Now, question about that one, though. Doesn't a ship outdo the tower pretty quickly, though? One ship takes care of that?
You should, or you just... Here's a better idea. You just go away. Right, because the arrow fire should be good against fishing boats, bare minimum. But like you have to remember, they get significant damage boosters when they're shooting boats. So like, if he just garrisons all the spearmen inside, you can't really drop off at that dock.
So you force your opponent to focus his micro on something else, leading to a little bit of distraction on the fronts where you decide to attack afterwards.
He's kind of helping him, by the way, like killing the dock right next to the outpost as opposed to the one further south. Because then, like, he's going to drop off of fishing further away, which means he's in range of the outpost for less time.
It doesn't look like he's actually planning on burning this one down completely just yet. Fishing boats going to drop off. Ooh, and that outpost is quite spicy. You were right, KP. My goodness. But with the amount of fishing boats he's got, a 13-6.
Wait, I think he's just fast castling.
Which makes a lot of sense. When you have 13 fishing ships already, you have the availability to do so. But now, that's a galley going right at you. Scatterbrained going for a safe play, aka the Springle ship in this case. Just going to be able to push that galley back, but SAS already has a second boat too, and both of them are going for fast castle.
What is going on in this game? I mean, Scatterbrained is being forced off his timing a little bit. And remember, SAS can tech up fast. It looks like it is going to be a reinvest. We are going to be saying Chevalier a lot in this game.
Okay. So not fast castle, got it. It was kind of spicy for a second there.
It looked weird with the macro, but Scatterbrained was like adding Chug. I thought it'd just be a few Chug in attack, which is pretty cheeky. But yeah, I mean, Chug is like a very weird one up against Chevalier. In some ways, they're decent. In some ways, they're really bad. It comes down to your blacksmith timing. Because, you know, they're plastic knights for a reason. The French knight variant doesn't have as much armor as your standard knight would in Feudal.
Oof, and Sassy really just wants to get some kills on these fishing boats. The thing is, this is going to cost him a full ship. And that's the difficulty of this. And just like that, Sassy loses a major part of his advantage here. That boat is just dead on the water already. We have one galley going down, and Sassy now reinvesting into a little bit more on the water, but he cannot actually stop. Scatterbrained realizes this. He also just needs to keep making units. Looked like he was going for a castle age, but is he just going to keep making units now?
Chug just somehow dodging the knights that are coming in towards his base. Scatterbrained will demo ship out the outpost to try and remove it. And there is a dive into his tree line right now. So SAS, first revelation of the knights, and Scatterbrained unready for it. Should be -2 there. Wait, we're going to switch targets. So last second dive. Does get the kill.
He does get the charge, and another one gets peppered up for a raid a little bit later, and another one gets peppered up, and another one. These guys might be going down, but they will be taking a few victims alongside them.
Another
actually.
one. Yeah, so, I mean, that was what, 4 villagers lost on that dive. That's expensive for Scatterbrained. And nicely done. Yeah, so the demo timing, I think, because usually the way it works is the demo, if you get rid of the outposts, remember correctly, it still kills the spearmen afterwards because of the timing that they are released and the demo connection point. It's like a really weird interaction.
So the spearmen got cooked pretty fast there. The Jugunu will be going down pretty quickly as well. Chevalier still inside. Another villager paying the price. And honestly, this is looking pretty good. He does lose the Chevalier, or most thereof at least. And the villagers will get a little bit time back on the food, but now the fight might just continue over here on water. We see Sassy investing pretty heavily into this now. But you still have to keep in mind, Scatterbrained is the one with 13 fishing ships. He's still getting a lot more resources from him.
Scatterbrained, you can see the intent, right? With the food and gold being corded up here. Remember, he can go for that tech quicker. Discounted as well as faster with Shishi. The problem is you're just going to be on the Knights Templar. Like, what's the goal for them? Like, are they coming in for assault again? Because the cool thing here is Scatterbrained can make it easy to defend on the dot play because of the stone recruitment from the Meditation Garden. It allows you to get to those arrow slits, making it harder for a water attack to come in.
Now, with the amount of boats we see here from Mr. Scatterbrained, we can see he's not really that invested on the water. With Sassy's attack, if it lands here, it might just be quite devastating. He's got a lot of Springle ships in his power already. But now the army on land looks quite impressive as well. You have to keep in mind, these are Jugunu. They are going to deal pretty well as far as, compared to archers at least. Scatterbrained investing a little bit more here onto the water, not trying to overinvest just too much. But it looks like these Chevalier are trying to get in. They get met with spears and very quickly take a lot of damage.
And Chevalier, in this situation, they do have the undermesh, the Chug. A little bit of a tickle. Obviously, the damage already done initially means that they will have to just scurry away from this. Scatterbrained now opting to go into the spears. More boats coming. So he has been kind of pulled back from that idea of just rushing the tech.
Well, this is a pretty decent position for Sassy to be in, because the moment that Scatterbrained moves to the one side, he's going to have an opening to attack with the horses from the other. But I see now that he's pulled the horses all the way back with the Chevalier. They're trying to split up this army, but at the same time, he's not fully ready to commit to all of this. You do see safe passage coming in now, which is going to mean some pilgrimage trying to make its way out here, and more docks being added for Scatterbrained. So the man is ready to reship it up. Reshape.
Reship and reshape. Going to be important here. This type of time, there you go. It's a little wiggle in here. We even have the archer upgrade coming in, actually, which is not too bad for the galleys. It does actually get a decent little increase in burst damage there. Scatterbrained, that's going to be particularly annoying on his fishing boats, because remember, he's fairly clustered up at 14. Double the fishing count, in fact, of his opponent here. Will force a retreat. Scatterbrained, a little bit shy. Curly of the hair moment, like, I'm not sure this is right. Demo ship is being primed. He's trying to drag SAS close. We'll try and turn and burn, and now the demo connects. SAS slow on the reaction there. Just about pulls away with the formation.
That was pretty close. And Sassy's reaction was key here. But we see Sassy now being on the defense here as the units are pushing out. But this is going to mean that Scatterbrain's not focusing on the waters. Neither is Sassy, apparently. And if a demo ship comes here now, this could be devastating.
We saw demo pull. Both of them have demos in the affair, but the archer ships able to contest Sassy straight away. The Sky Zone is going to get him some space here, but the dive in does not realize it. He tries to react by going up to outpost now. But there's Chevalier. There's Steeled Arrow. But it doesn't mean that you just melt through these guys. He's going to have to start a step back and be focused on the micro. But that means he could end up losing on the waterfront because of it. In fact, he must be microing there right now. The demo connector's trying to come through. The fishing boat's just about able to hold on here. It's a clutch attempt to repair, but it's coming at a high price as SAS can look to target down the fishing. I think we have got some arrows that's coming through to scare him away. The demo will reset him. And Scatterbrained needs to find a way of diving again on land.
Now, it does look like this is going to be a pretty good push for Sassy on the water, but we've seen people lose it from here. This is such a tough spot to be in. Scatterbrained just getting more and more demos, but is this going to be enough against this pretty heavy push from Sassy? But with 7 Springald ship, he is going to need a miracle connection to make this work. Now, the tower is pushing off whatever he can. He does get a pretty good connection, but now the fishing ships are sitting ducks, and we see Scatterbrained not investing anymore.
I mean, he's just going full land now. And if last game told us anything, it's that there's 10 minutes left in this game at least. He's going to be going for an outpost and I'll just try and shut down the wood. It's just unfortunate, right? Like, the reaction by SAS is so good that the double outpost read was exactly what he needed to kind of hold on. Scatterbrained, like, the idea was cool, but it was a bit of a gambit, and SAS able to fully exploit that now. So we have got to shift out onto Deer. Remember, this is problematic, though. It's Chevalier coming in from SAS, which means that he can raid you for this.
And those Chevalier are going to be fantastic, but not in the current setup. We see the Jigunu now trying to find a way in to do as much damage as possible. The archers here trying to focus fire, but you do need to be careful of all those spears. The Chevalier getting on top of them, and the towers, they need to focus down all of these spears, with the archers doing their best right now. The spear numbers quickly disappearing, and most of the villagers still staying very much alive. Sassy can now invest everything on water.
Yeah, just kind of bulk up. You'll want to move across for a dock play, potentially. Wouldn't be a bad idea either. Like, you'd be able to scout what's happening over here and just start to move a few cavalry units in. For Scatterbrained, it's all about posturing. He needs to be up in his face constantly, because the moment that SAS doesn't feel threatened anymore, he'll be able to exploit the fact that you can't just stay underneath your TC.
Now, Sassy, he is going to struggle a little bit for the resources here once the gold gets shut down. With him only having that one pilgrim, luckily for him, Scatterbrained is focused on the top side, so he should be able to get that gold every single time, with the pilgrim now going into his boat and going all the way to the far side here. Now, Sassy, he does still have a lot on wood, but you can see the focus being on gold and food here. He needs to make sure that he gets as many units out here as possible. And with the number of archers, they are going to need to be a lot dealing with the Mount Lu Academy, who's coming in pretty fast. Scatterbrained has 17 on gold, so this could be a pretty quick spam into Lances himself.
Yeah, even the Duke upgrade is actually pretty desirable here. We mentioned the Chevalier have less armor, so they get disintegrated by Veteran Duke, and you can, of course, rush that with supervision. Scatterbrained opts the Knight instead. Doesn't go for the Duke upgrade. A little bit surprised by this, actually. He's shifting over towards the gold location as SAS has split his economy, and he'll be prepping a tech himself while also looking for a fortress timing here.
It doesn't look like Scatterbrained has queued up anything right now. Now finally getting the Jigunu upgrade, but what's next? This is a pretty tough spot. He does not have all the resources in the bag. The Lancers now, second one on his way out. Angevin Empire has been clicked up, but he needs to be careful. This is such a critical timing. Pilgrim going to be going down any moment now, and it looks like he's ready to dive. The villagers could be popping into this TC, doing a significant amount of damage, but it looks like they want to just get every resource they can.
Gets the Veteran C. Not a fight the SAS ever wants to be a part of. Now the Chevalier not as tanky. Does manage to get this. Wait, the spears for free though. Scatterbrained. He just sacked them. Chevalier still have to back away. The TC is a problem though, and there's a few Lancers, but remember with Angevin Empire here, with the food access that SAS has, this is the critical ingredient towards Knights Templars' ongoing success on these water and hybrid maps.
So what does the Angevin Empire give him access to?
Giga Spearmen. Heavy spears here, really impactful against the Duke. And then on top of that, the Lancers are going to struggle to snipe them out. On top of all that, on a map like this, you can go for a fortress, and that will buff nearby spearmen. So it's a very beneficial play around this timing. Usually the weakness is it's just too food dense. But if you think of maps like Kawasan, here in Holy Island, you have density of food forever.
Oh, that vision just not giving Scatterbrained the extra boost he needed there. Well, quickly, the Chevalier take a little bit of an engagement and learn that is not the way to go. Archers getting their upgrade pretty soon, but the Spearmen are the ones that are going to be critical here. Now we see the Chevalier trying their best, but they are still taking quite a bit of damage here from the Jigunu. Not as much as expected right now. These guys do need to back off, and the Archers are looking quite scary as well.
Yeah, the Duke just aren't going to be able to stand here. The Lancer wave, second one coming in now. Keep in mind, though, SAS is going to have a lot of gold coming through. He just shifted to the island, so he'll be able to just set up a mining camp there, and you won't ever be able to fully stop the gold. So food, gold, eternal for SAS. The Scatterbrained, he needs to find a way of just diving past this. He sacks his Duke, tries to send some Lancers in a little bit deeper, but so far, SAS's reactions have been on point.
Now, with getting all of this map control, Sassy is just putting himself in a spot that we would have liked to see from Sassy in those first two games. He is showing us the pure control of his ability to run with those cavalry units, overwhelming his opponent on every single angle. Now, Sassy is the one in the driving seat with all of the eco standing at the ready, and those Lancers hoping to make miracles happen, but those Spearmen are just not melting.
They're so tanky. Frustrating unit, right? More health than your standard Spearman at this stage. Then they've got the armor on top of it. Decent damage. The only weakness really being they're slow, and obviously we get crossbows, but getting crossbows here, a little bit tricky. I think Scatterbrained's only way, but needs to be careful not to sack his Lancers in the meantime. His food is limited, remember. He's playing deer, he's playing berries, but these things won't last forever.
Now, we have to keep in mind the army that we see on this counter still includes a ton of ships for Sassy.
Oh, that's cheeky.
But very quickly, ooh,
that's a sick move. What? SAS is not looking.
And those archers are barely tickling these Lancers anymore. They are ready to take a good fight. But we do see Chevalier spread out onto the wood line here too. We do see them trying to find a little bit of damage and trying to split up to do so. But the problem is now we have crossbows, and Chevalier are just going to melt away. We do see a big villager migration right now. And where are they going? Just wood?
I think wood here would make a lot of sense. Maybe you just think about getting some spears, because your opponent shouldn't really be building archers anymore. He's going to go for the torch in, and now berry workers on the front side. Relics are finally starting to come home here, but for both players. Lancer is going to be there to intercept. Crossbows need to be careful not to be overextending. Wololo is going to be a whiff. But the upgrade is coming through, so fortification will protect there. Scatterbrained has to back away. It's kind of tricky, right? He doesn't have that many crossbows right now. And the food income difference is getting worrisome.
Now, with Sassy just being able to get control of that full water, he hasn't really secured another set of docks there to get the fishing on the other side too.
No.
He's playing this very conservatively, I would say, not trying not to overinvest and spend all the resources there, rather spending the wood on this side to try and defend and survive against these very scary attacks. We do see 5 on stone right now, which means he could get a few of these towers reinforced pretty soon too. But only having 15 fishing ships, it feels a little bit of a risky move against something like the Zushi.
I think the problem here, though, is if you go for the fishing, like, you're weakening your hand and your opponent's all inning you. So, like, the idea that SAS has isn't the worst in the world. Just outlast him, burn him out, because unless he's got some sort of crazy 2TC farm transition, which just doesn't seem feasible for Sushi when they're doing this type of strategy, you will be the candle that should burn longer.
Especially with Zushi very often having to slow down significantly to get that farm transition going, with that wood line being so small. And honestly, on this map, it feels so dangerous to do so. We see 33 villagers out here on the stone. It does feel like Scatterbrained is looking for some aggressive play, and it's to do with a keep very, very clearly.
Think about the issue here. Knights Templar have how many landmarks? We've been here before. It was a smaller map when we saw it. And now the clash coming in. The Lancers are starting to just brute force their way through this. Crossbow contest by SAS is a disadvantage for him. He has to retreat. And now it's looking for the keep drop. It's going to be a very aggressive one, actually. A full dive. It's do or die on this maneuver as he gets ready to drop it right next to the starting town center of SAS. He has the body blocks. He's forcing a bit of stagnant behavior here. The workers do have to back up. It will not be as deep as he was hoping for, but there's no stopping this. SAS has to allow it.
And allowing something like this might seem like something that is a bit risky, but he does have the siege workshop already here. So he's very quickly going to be able to respond to this, and we instantly see that trebuchet being queued up. So the man is not feeling too scared for this. He has the tools to deal with it. He just needs to let that water eco actually do the talking. Now we still just don't have enough of a landmass here. And he needs to make a plan about that very, very quickly, because that's still a lot of units here from the Zushi to handle. Even though there are 11 crossbows, he's been struggling with them.
Yeah, I just don't think Scatterbrained was anticipating the damage that would be done by those towers, right? They just didn't have the lancers to burn through them. And now, in this situation, you sack villagers doing this. Look at the food income. That was it for Scatterbrained. Like, he's running dry really fast. The options aren't looking great, and he's pretty much just doing the Miyamika effect. Like, pull the villagers 30 over here, 30 to the next one. You know, he'll get these bursts of food, but it's not going to be consistent, reliable. He has got an advantage on siege timing here, because remember, you can supervise. But SAS already has a few trebs coming out. On top of that, gold, wood, food, like, these are all looking pretty decent, right? Like, not as much wood for him as Scatterbrained. But that's because Scatterbrained basically needs the game to end in the next 2 minutes.
The problem is, this is 5 trebuchets, and Sassy, he's not making units fast enough. He's getting a few crossbows there in queue, and we see that quickly taking down that. But now, there's still a keep in the middle of all of this.
Does he go for the... He could actually try for sniping the enemy treb here. A little bit weird, like, please kill these spring on placements. This is... Don't lose a game because these things are sitting here.
And honestly, that looks like it could be the issue. He's got one trebuchet focus firing there, but now it looks like Sassy might be the one who needs to pull some villagers to keep this TC alive.
It's a fortress, I think, on the island. It's the smartest place to... No, okay, he puts it behind the TC. Okay, no, yeah, so... This is a raise, though. It's 5 treb, but the reload speed isn't that great. It's only 20 seconds out to get the fortress up. SAS, I think he survives this. Barely. Yeah, he will get it up on online.
And
that's uncomfortable.
The problem is, this TC going down is just going to mean...
Oh my god, no. Scatterbrained thinks that's the end. He legit thinks that's the end of the game. Oh no. He's like, wait, why? What? Why are you not dead? It's just like... It's just that shock and almost like, that should have been the game. How is this still going on? He's going to realize pretty quickly what's happened behind this. SAS has built 2 fortresses now.
And this was so critical. Getting that second one up here at the top just means that he can survive a bit longer to let that economy do the talking. Now 80 supply for Scatterbrained. This is a ticking time bomb. We see that keep going down very, very quickly. The problem here is he needs to repair it with stone. And that is not never ending. So finally getting rid of that tower as well. And now he will just start hammering away here at the front. Moving in a little bit closer, but the numbers that he has is definitely not
He's trying to
the
snap
number
the trap.
he needs. Oh no.
It's like his only play here because like he just can't rush this now. It's double trap. Like that castle's going to be going down eventually, surely. I mean, Scatterbrained, he has got a lot of stone in reserve. He's trying to snipe the village to stop the repair. In fairness, SAS doesn't have more workers. Like, he can't build villages right now, so, sniping them isn't a bad idea.
The keep does go down, but now, the crossbows realize they've stepped a little bit too far forward. The repair from Scatterbrained, it's not fast enough here, but the TC is still dead, and that gives Scatterbrained a little bit of hope. We've seen him not surrender, but now the boys, they are feeling enforced, and they're going straight for it. Some of these trebuchets will be paying the price, but we can see he wants to focus fire these units, putting the horsemen back.
He's still alive. The castle's still up. Now the stone's gone. He burnt through it pretty damn fast here. You are just actually catching up right now. There's still got 300 according to that. So just shows you how quickly you drain through it when you repair with that many people. So castle now down, and that literally should just be it. That was the only hope Scatterbrained had left here.
And it was close. Honestly, it was pretty close. Scatterbrained definitely played an interesting way to try and secure this, but Sassy reigns supreme with that water control. And that takes us to our 5th game in this series. Honestly, doesn't matter which way this goes, I am impressed. Today has been a day of just constant 3-2s. We had 1-3-1, but no walkovers. It's been an absolute quality set of games. And I can imagine how excited people are for their final game of the day.
That will be an hour long, because we've got a 10-hour broadcast target to hit here. This is, it's arbitrary, but it's a nice round number. For those OCD people, it just makes sense.
So, what are we expecting from someone in their final game? Do we see them pulling some crazy things, or is this just where Sassy wants to play a standard game where he can take down the likes of Scatterbrained?
I think it's going to be probably Delhi versus HRE? No. I don't know. Sassa's picks aren't that good if you just ban Malian. Because he's got Mongol HRE. Like, that's okay normally, but, like, on the other side... Actually, no. I guess Delhi Chinese is the alternative, right? I think Scatterbrain's going to try to force a choice, and there you go. Yeah, so he allows Delhi. That shocks me, though. He banned HRE and allowed Mali. Okay.
This, especially when you're on something like front range, you, as the Malians, you do pretty well with those small goals. So it feels like you're giving your opponent exactly what he needs. And HRE, they love gold, but they get it naturally. And that is the problem we have here. So, honestly, getting Malians on this map, Sassy must be a very happy boy.
Yeah, like the more I think about this, is like the dynamics. I think it was just kind of hedging expectations, because if you allowed HRE through and you'd got China, maybe he's a little bit worried Burgrave. HRE also has like a weird kind of build that can work against Delhi here, where like you just kind of scale men-at-arms in prep for the Burgrave timing. Used to be really ineffective, but on a map like this does have some credence. So yeah, it's an interesting one, actually, because, of all the games on front range, this is going to be the first one where both parties just cannot touch the ball whatsoever.
Now, these two might be a little bit exhausted after this marathon as well, but I did see Sassy earlier in the chat saying he only woke up at 6. So the man may have expected this to be quite a series. And honestly, I think all of us here on the casting seat, not just you and me, but I mean the production, we were all sitting here thinking, oh, this could be a 3-0, right? Not necessarily one way or the other, just it's a late day. A lot of people start losing quite a bit of control here. But these two, they are giving it their A game. And Scatterbrained looks like the one who's getting a little bit worn out by the very, very ready Sassy.
Yeah, I mean, Scatterbrained, like going into this, the expectations of the players' performances recently, I would have given him the edge actually. Just SAS, he's been kind of waiting to show that rise up moment. I mean, what better time to do than here, right? And Mali versus Delhi is like an interesting one. Historically, Delhi has had their number. A little bit of a different map though. The lack of safe food for you, the fact that Mali now confidently play a lot of Sofa strats. Sofa Donzos has actually been looking decent in this matchup recently. I don't feel like it's as dominant as it was, say, a year ago when you would have probably put Delhi at like an 80-90% chance.
When I think of this matchup, I just remember the days of the Archer spam. And I remember the trauma I had as a Malian player of my javelins not countering archers anymore. But now, I don't need javelins when I have sofas. You have prime furniture on this civilization, but the thing is, you need to make it count. And Ghazi Raiders, they do pretty well against that composition as far as civilizations go that can handle it. But you need to make sure that you kill Ghazis. And sofas, when they don't have the numbers, Ghazis don't really allow that. Because Ghazis are just going to go home, heal up, and take the fight yet again. And your sofas are going to be the ones who are bruised and hammered. So, not really an easy match for Malians, I think. Just because of you having to control your units and make sure that when you land, you grab exactly the right fights. Otherwise, Delhi just takes control.
Yeah, they can roll you. I mean, the upsides here, like it's 2 sacred sites instead of 3. One of them you should always be fighting over. So like the gold influx is a bit weaker for Delhi. And, your pit mines are very close to your base. Like, that's another positive. Like, it's a bit harder for Ghazi to just slip in and burn them and slip out. But, it's that tug and pull we talk about, right? Donzo Sofa could be an interesting way for him to go. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see old school Donzo Javs. Just not sure if it's the horse to bank on to win the race here.
Yeah, javelins, they become difficult because you have to put so much more into using them effectively. And we'll see. Sassy, though, he's been looking pretty good at microing. But the problem is every bit of gold matters, especially in a map where golds are very, very tiny. But we do see 2 back golds spawning up there for Sassy. And that's the first thing I looked at. That is disgusting.
All right, Dark Age, Delhi, Rax Rush. Here we go. Like, this is... You think I'm memeing. There was a chance when we got into this, you see, because B has been doing that at the moment. And these two scrim together. So I was a little bit like, okay, it sounds like a meme, but... So yeah, we will just get the standard opening from Delhi, just to focus on Feudal Age, and it just means that SAS gets agreed up. Doesn't have to worry about saving for an outpost necessarily. Could just get the efficient play really as well, like you just kind of hang around the goal potentially, and then you just set up the second pit mine nicely.
The nice thing about this map right now is there's going to be no boar action between these two. So no crazy villager kills on the boar. We are just getting a standard old game with 2 civilizations who will not dare touch any boars in the middle of this map. But what I'm really excited for is seeing Sassy now having the little bit of a better spawn compared to his opponent. And now Scatterbrained is going to need to do the hard work, just like Sassy worked for his victory on Byzantines earlier.
And, the rest of the spawn, like, there is some kind of important things to keep in mind here. Like, the Delhi will try to raid you tug pull north-south because all of your food is going to be gravitating south side. All your gold is now hard hitting north side. So there is, like, a negative element there of how you have to kind of split your focus. Because, you could theoretically survive on just cow, but that does give Delhi an all-in timing. If you're just relying on cow solely to get your food sources, they can play on the deer, they can play the berries, and they can push quite fast.
Now, Scatterbrained, I'm not expecting to see anything too crazy from this man in the early stages. A solid little Ghazi opening with a little bit of a push on any villager he can find to force a reaction out of SAS, because with Malians, you have a few options usually. And on this map, I don't think we ever see something such as... we don't see pro scouts, right, KP? Or am I speaking? Or am I completely wrong?
You'll see it eventually for Delhi. For Delhi, you'll eventually see it. But, like, no, it's not really a priority. Early days, some people tried it. I think it was not that impressive. Like statistically, there is actually a lot of deer on this map. Because if I remember correctly, I think it's 5, 5. It might be 7 in the center, so you end up with 33 deer in total. But like 6 of them should never be grabbed because 3 are underneath each player's TC.
And they could just technically be pushed in if you had the patience. But with their scouts, they are going to get some vision. I like that. I like the fact that Scatterbrained is also using a scout to just get control of those little vision towers, I guess, in those stealth forests.
It's critical because the thing is, it's so easy to forget about. You just like you go 20 minutes in this game and you aren't even thinking about the outposts, and then you click your villagers up into the mountains and they never come home, right? Like, because you just casually walk by it. Like I've seen it so many times because you have to remember a lot of them spawn in stealth forest. So when your villagers run by, they don't even notice that the tower has been taken.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So it's just something that players need to get used to the mechanic of to also play effectively. Ooh, Sassy canceling that mill over there. Going for the deer at the back, it seems. Oh, definitely not going to get pro scouts if you're moving all the way out there to do so. So it makes a lot of sense, though. You don't want to be investing too many resources. You'd rather have it on units. So, of course, we see 198 gold already in the bank for Malians, and usually this is spent on getting those early cows in the pen and already starting that economy. And up against this, I see barracks being made pretty early on here. What's going to be our first thing? I'm waiting to see those cows getting queued up, or an upgrade, or something, Sassy. Do something with that gold, please.
Okay, so Garcia beginning coming in. I mean, usually you go for the free cow here, right? Plus the ranch. So I don't think there's really anything else that makes sense. There you go. First cow has been queued. He's got 9 on wood, so he will be able to afford the ranch. In fact, it's already being built up. He actually might go for like a more greedy timing here, like leveraging the deer. Maybe he... Wait.
He just cancelled it.
What?
He just
Is
cancelled
he going for the second pit mine? Yeah. Okay, so he's prioritizing pit mine instead.
It doesn't delay him too much, because he does still have 9 on wood, though.
I think this is just going to be a cow rush, really. Like with this type, the only reason I think you put credence on the pit mine over the ranch timing is because you just want to keep flooding additional cow afterwards.
And you see him not moving out on gold with any bills. He doesn't want to put any more effort into the gold than is naturally given to him, because, of course, this is just going to make sure that every bit of resource you have is effectively gathered and spent into military. And the gold that you get, all of that goes directly into your investment that you need for those cows to flourish. Now, we only have Ghazis out here for Scatterbrains so far, not queuing up that next one. But with 2, you should be able to try and keep those Donzos engaged. The scout now going to see exactly that the second pit mine has been started, and more Donzos on the way.
Yeah, so I think SAS just trying to be as lean as possible to just build an eco advantage on the side. And for Scatterbrained, the play should be probably Archer Ghazi here. The problem is, you know, you feel bad about that to a certain extent, because then if your opponent goes javelins, you're just kind of headbutting the wall. But unless you see a mining camp, it's not going to be an insane amount of gold or scaling javelins anyway.
Now, he gets wheelbarrow here, just investing in those early 3 guys. Oh, cancels wheelbarrow. Interesting. What does he decide to go for? KP, you cursed it. He's going for javelins. Archery range has been queued up, and the fact that he cancelled that wheelbarrow tells me he's going to be spending that gold elsewhere. Double broadaxe is the research method of choice here, and just making sure that he gets as much wood in here as possible. Now, with the amount of Donzos he's got, those Ghazis need to be careful. But the archers are starting to come in.
The blacksmith timing Eva out of Scatterbrained is a little bit concerning. It takes you time to scale into this. But the idea of what's happening here isn't terrible for him, right? Like right now, things look good for SAS, but you have to remember, he's now going for a combo that doesn't come out. Trade-off there, Sacred Sites. And you can see Sanctity is about to complete.
So Scatterbrained getting himself ready for that one thing that Delhi does really, really well, and that's capturing the sacred sites. You need to be able to shut this down, especially on maps like Dry Arabia. But on a map with 2 sacred sites, it doesn't feel as urgent, because you are already a civilization that gets that passive gold. Of course, you don't want to give this to Delhi all for free, but like you said, this is just a comp that doesn't move. You can't...
You won't be getting out either, though. Like, he's actually walling him in, which is... Okay. I mean, I don't think he's coming out in a rush. There's a little bit of a surprise here that Scatterbrained's even opting for it.
First javelin is out, but more cows are coming. Not in the pen just yet. Hopefully Sassy realizes that pretty soon. But now the mining camps are starting to be added here too. Only one javelin in that army, and I'm already a little worried because I feel like Sassy has idled that military building for a while. And that's one of the keys of Malians. You need to constantly be producing. Otherwise, your opponent is going to overwhelm you because they're not busy investing economically in a bunch of cows.
I mean, in fairness, he already got up to 9 Donzos, but his javelin count is null. So, like, I don't mind the idea that, like, Jav should be priority, but he does technically have reserves. Like, either adding another production building to double down Jav timing, which, there you go, he's now doing. Even adding in extra racks, actually. So, I guess he thought it was maybe going to be Scatterbrained rushing Castle, so he didn't want to, like, heavily commit. But now that he sees the Ghazi wave is building, gets a bit paranoid.
And those numbers are telling you that you might have an issue on your hands. So Scatterbrained now getting that second sacred site pretty soon as well. It does put the timer on there, of course, but at the same time, you are feeling that pressure of the gold that is constantly ticking for your opponent. Now, with the cows he's got, it does feel pretty good. I mean, he does have 7. One of them will soon have a home. But this is going to mean that he's constantly going to be able to add those Donzos over and over again. And with the passive gold, the javelin numbers are going to start getting a little bit more impressive. Keep in mind, though, you need to micro those. And this is going to be the thing that Sassy needs to overperform in.
Moving out now from SAS. He's a little bit concerned. What's happening here? Is Scatterbrained actually playing the H? Nice snipe on the north side. We'll just deny the Spearman left the guard up there. So second sacred site now being locked in. He discovers the walls. Says there's a secret passage right next to it. It's really secret, but there is a way around.
He's like, oh my god, thanks, KP. Why didn't you tell me sooner?
This is just kind of proof that everything's rigged. That'll be 10% your prize pool earnings. Thank you very much. So yeah, it does sneak around. SAS will just go for the decap now.
And he might not be able to get it here too easily with the archers now joining the party. But the javelins are still pretty scary here. The Donzos, they throw their spears right at an archer. This just means they are ready to get picked off if the archers get any closer. But luckily, not committing too hard. One of the javelin throwers stepping too far out, and that's quite expensive to lose.
Yeah, Scatterbrained just a little bit of poke power here, but we talked about this blacksmith timing. It's only now starting to come through, and that's just going to be the first tier of it. Steeled arrow. Meanwhile, SAS, like, he's in a good position technologically. Undermesh, steeled arrow. Also, a choke point is really beneficial here just because of the Ghazi flood. So just hugging these type of areas is a big benefactor for him. And we have to remember it's now 9 cow. So, like, realistically, Scatterbrained, it's going to get very difficult to compete on economy at this pacing.
He does move into decap, but he doesn't want to overcommit or lose anything because he knows every unit he loses is going to make this a lot harder. But we do see that Ghazi mass walking out here, and they will find some victims, unfortunately. And there's not going to be follow-up anytime soon. The Ghazis, they are going straight for the kill and going straight for the food because you can see in the fog of war, hey, this man is pushing deer around. This is the time to snack villagers.
Oh, he can just surround.
Oh, no.
Okay, he just casually A-clicks in, so that's actually better for SAS. It gives him some opportunity to move away here. But, oh my god, no, don't... The mill Greaves seemed to guarantee it. It was unlikely anyone was going to get away, but all but guaranteed there. So now a healthy lead for Scatterbrained. SAS, he'll try to cut him off. But remember, the scout is there. He sees him ahead of time, so he can just steer north. He can even try and, like, snipe the extra workers.
Now, this wall is kind of nice because it does block him in, right? Now, these guys are actually going to be a little bit suboptimal with running around, but they could snipe a villager.
Yeah, why don't we just walk through his base now that his army's out of his base, right? I think that's what Scatterbrained is thinking here. So he could just kill more workers at this pacing, actually.
I was hoping there would be some reinforcements, but no. Sassy, a little bit confident here. There's still a lot of villagers out here on the gold. He needs to pull these back. And these Ghazis, only a few going down with 8 workers. This feels like a pretty big loss. Oh,
and more workers. Wait, the wall? SAS, no. These walls are his worst enemy. He's at least going to get the tile up to try and block them. But there's still an exit on the front side of the base that's now accessible.
More walls, but now being picked off by archers. 10, 11, 12 dead villagers, and he's not slowing down. It looks like Scatterbrained came in with this final game, and he is ready for a freaking fight. Javelin thrower is now going to be able to target fire a few of these archers, but at the cost of 12 villagers, you might as well lose all these archers and still be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I mean, Scatterbrained, there's options on the table, right? Like, the idea of going castle, not crazy, but I think the recommitment's pretty sexy to him here. Like, remember, SAS hasn't gathered the resources for Fulani. Yes, he's got the full effect. He's got 18 out of 20 cows practically there. But the choice to go tech here could just kill him. When you look at the military difference in strength, like Scatterbrained, there is a timing where you could just pull 10 scholars here and send it.
And for some reason, SAS is just feeling confident about pushing out here, thinking that, hey, maybe my opponent is going for castle, but this is the bait. He's just constantly still producing. So this, giving Sassy a little bit of confidence to move out, and possibly it's just going to be his downfall. He's going straight for the food at the bottom there, trying to get a bit of damage.
He's assuming it's a tech play by Scatterbrained, because, like, you know, you see this type of army, adding in elephants as a win. But no. Now it's going to be surround. SAS, he took the bait. It's a trap. Ghazi reveal. The Donzo's going to have to engage. The numbers speak for themselves here. SAS is going to lose the army.
And this is not an army he can replace at any point. The new javelin throw is also coming to just die off. But these Donzos are trying their best at just kiting back so they can take down a few of these Ghazi Raiders. But the problem is, Malians, you are not at the economy where you can just sit back and remake. He's trying to pull this army as back as possible because this is the only time he has to try and survive. Remake and survive.
The archer count is too high. Like, the javelins won't defend this. Like, technically, Scatterbrained could just pull the Ghazi and head to the enemy base right now. Interesting choice to actually bring them, because there's, like, the Ghazi can't do anything. It's just Donzos left over. What?
Now, the Donzos are doing a pretty good job at cleaning up a few of these, but at the same time, it's just a bunch of Donzos. Now, you are going to be in such a tough spot in your base. We do see that he has quite a few javelins remade there at the back, and a handful of Donzos,
what?
But he leaves these alive.
What is Scatterbrained doing? I think he misselected the army. Like I was saying, the Ghazi should be going to the enemy base, right? And I think he selected all by accident. Yeah, so pulls off a few archers, because you don't need that many to beat those Donzos with your bonus damage. So just kind of mirror the count, send the rest forward, because you're assuming that there's going to be more Donzos being built. But this just feels painful, man. Like, the SAS, there was no window there to say, okay, now attack. And the wall from Scatterbrained.
He's taking
the
a
cheeky
note from
quick wall. The archers will catch up. So it's going to cost him 1-2 workers, but, I mean, worth it to get rid of the backstab threat and now just focus on the bush.
The problem is, I feel like Sassy here had an opportunity to kill a ton of workers if he just focus fired. But at the same time, again, now with the archers being split, it looks like Sassy is going to be able to push this back for now. But the losses were so intense, it feels like it's still just a ticking time bomb. He's still keeping these archers occupied, though. But he's pushing out again.
Yeah, but Scatterbrained is going castle. Like, this is the thing. He's still able to win a fight like this. Once you hear that tech up, SAS is going to have to do something drastic. Right? Like, you'll try to push and you'll be outnumbered, or you'll just try to fall back in tech. But by the time you would tech, Scatterbrained can have all his veteran seats with a bigger army. Like, it's actually really freaking scary, especially when you remember that Javs tend to overkill. They trade worse into, like, their archers than they do in the feudal age.
So what you're saying is Sassy is going to need 6 good mangonel shots and an AFK Scatterbrained to take this.
That's true. If we could just get some mango towers up, they serve SAS well in this series, but I don't know if Malians have that technology.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not this game. This is one of those where Sassy's going to look back and feel pretty rough about seeing that he threw away that army, assuming that the castle age was coming. And honestly, I think this is just the difference of having a scout. It shows you how quickly people make assumptions just based off of what they know from scouting. And in this case, Sassy did not know a thing, but now he's pushing out, and all those upgrades, they're going to be okay, especially considering that there's 15 scholars.
It's like 30 seconds out in archery. Like, it's not that long, right? With this many scholars, I'd assume like maybe 45 maximum remaining. And like, that's enough to chase you. Like, realistically, Scatterbrained could be pursuing you right now. To that scouting point, it is a bit ironic because at the moment Scatterbrained is pro scouting, so He didn't see the army step that far up, I don't think.
But this is
And,
going to
oh,
be...
well, it's that thing that ends games, Marika.
Oh, an elephant! Wow! Where did he get
Wow.
that? Love
Could
that
never
for
have
him.
imagined this.
So, to be fair, one elephant, how many javelins do I need to take that boy down? I feel like Corvinus is the
Javelins?
answer.
Oh my god, no. 100? Javelins is definitely not the answer. Donzo's is like, you've got some jabs you can hurl. Shiv's out here to deal with those few Donzos that were raiding. He's going to get a few worker kills, so not for nothing. The Grand Fulani Corral now on the way, and Scatterbrained begins the assault.
Problem is, those javelins are going to need to perform miracles, and they're trying to snipe as much down before that wall breaks down. But this is just going to be a commitment. The moment he sees that Fulani being made, he doesn't even need to see it. He realizes,
They're
I got
vetted.
this.
You just go. There's no hesitation here, right? Like, you won't be able to get the upgrades. You need a minute. In a minute, this army could be dead. Ghazi even just committing into Donzo's, banging him forward. Archer's getting the trade out perfectly. The Ghazi can easily rotate around the back at this stage because SAS isn't really holding the choke point anymore. In fact, at this point, he's fronting with javelins. There's little left in the chamber. Now the dive comes in towards the Fulani. Forces the reaction of the limited spearmen remaining. But it's 50 archers and a war elephant on the way. How the hell do you stop this?
He gets his upgrades queued up instantly, but at this point, there is not much he can do. We see some villagers standing idle around the DC, trying to garrison inside, but there's just no space for them to get back to safety. And he doesn't have a stable. He doesn't have anything to produce those castle age units from. And even then, I just realized sofas need upgrades too. This is an
Hannibal's
absolute
here.
travesty.
Just call it. This is the moment, right? It's okay. When an elephant is at your Fulani, that is an acceptable point to call the GG. He's got nothing left, Marika. I mean, it looked like there was a miracle recovery maybe to had, but Scatterbrained will lock in that final slot for the road to Red Bull Wololo with a 3-2 victory.
Absolutely cleanly timed here by him, and ensuring that he gets on top of those villages and with the deer. It was an game changer. The fact that he could get all 8 villages surrounded there, waiting for Sassy to move out of his base, just being a little bit greedy. Absolutely phenomenal play here. Now, Sassy, valiant effort, just like everyone else here who ended in a 3-2. But Scatterbrained will be the second Belarusian making it all the way through to the top 16.
It's an exciting thought here, right? Like the final lineup, I think most of them, I'm trying off the top of my head now, the results of it, like I think most of them were kind of what we maybe expected. Maybe like, of the swings and roundabouts, I think like Myriad may be the big surprise, right? Of any. Like Gully done phenomenally well there. Me and Micah, it was a case of would he turn up on the day? Corvinus, we kind of expect to come out here, but Scarlet, damn, he made that one close. Even the first qualifier, like just a lot of highly expected outcomes there. Baltoon really just comes out of nowhere on occasions. Voldemar has been looking much better, and Kilyadi just kind of a shoe-in alongside Numidan. So I think we got, maybe with like 2 exceptions, the most obvious lineup that comes to mind for us. But the fact it was so close just shows you the caliber of AoE4 and how it's improving.
Oh, I love the fact that we used to have a clear top 3, and then a clear top 4, and then a clear top 6. And now we're getting to a point where the top 8, we can't really predict who is going to end where. But it's same to say with the top 16. There are people now falling in and out of that range, and it's getting closer and closer. And that just shows us that the AoE's health is doing pretty damn well.